Chapter 44:28. Master Wu glanced at Su Yu and said faintly, "It's very simple. They have something to ward off evil spirits. From the moment they entered the dream, they didn't enter, and what you saw was always them in the dream. They belong to the second type of people I mentioned before, created by the dream creators." Su Yu was enlightened. It seemed like after returning from Yunnan, when Pudding and Little Bean appeared, it was all an illusion created by the dream creators. The real twins had never entered the dream. Something to ward off evil spirits. Su Yu tried his best to recall. Suddenly, he remembered that the twins always had a pair of white jade gourds around their necks. Lu Yan had given them to them when they were born. It was said that they were priceless. Jade itself had the effect of warding off evil spirits. Perhaps Lu Yan had blessed them or something. In that case, it made sense, Master Wu. Why would a dream creator's dream be afraid of amulets and white jade? Su Yu turned into a curious baby and asked the questions in his heart. Master Wu replied slowly, "How should I put it to you? Let me give you an example. Although dream creators and hypnotists are the top technologies in the current development of technology, they are not superstitious. That is the opinion of ordinary people. In the eyes of Taoists, after creating a dream, letting others enter a dream, and achieving a certain goal, we can call it evil. It's just like when you watch ancient dramas, there are people who practice martial arts. Although their martial arts are strong, they are evil. Good and evil cannot coexist. Evil things must have something to subdue them. Therefore, at this time, whether it's amulets, charms, the Great Compassion Mantra, or white jade, they have become a way to avoid evil things. If you put it that way, I kind of understand." Su Yu nodded thoughtfully. "But you have a point. You subconsciously forced the amulet on yourself in your dream. You don't have a real amulet." Master Wu said. "Yes, I asked my mom for the amulet after I came back." Su Yu touched the amulet with mixed feelings. "So, what really saved you wasn't the amulet. After all, it didn't really exist in the dream. That should be a few lines of scripture that I learned by accident. As my mother is a Buddhist, I often hear her recite the Great Compassion Mantra. Over time, I was also a little affected." Su Yu followed Master Wu's train of thought and revealed the secret for himself. Suddenly, he felt that the mystery was getting smaller and smaller, and it was about to dissipate. Master Wu nodded. "There's nothing wrong with what you said. The Great Compassion Mantra is indeed one of the most important points, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is, you already felt that something was wrong in the dream. Although you didn't figure it out directly, your logic has already started to guide you. It's like a person dreaming and knowing that they're dreaming. Therefore, what really saved you wasn't your amulet or your Great Compassion Mantra, but your self-consciousness." If an ordinary person were to hear this, they would definitely be confused. But Su Yu actually understood it instantly. Indeed, in the dream, there were many times when he felt that something was wrong. He felt that something was wrong with Huamin after returning from Yunnan. He felt that something was wrong with Qin Chu's condition. He felt that there was something wrong with eating with Huamin in the underwater palace. Therefore, Su Yu was the only one who did not completely believe in the dream. That was why he was sent out with the help of the amulet and the Great Compassion Mantra. It could be considered a narrow escape, but Master Wu, there's still something I don't understand. Speak. The time isn't right. I asked my friend's housekeeper. My friend and his wife came back to sleep last night. Logically speaking, it's only been one night. But in the dream, more than a month has passed. The time is messed up. What's going on? Do we return to reality every day and dream at night? The more Su Yu thought about it, the more confused he became. Chapter 44:29. Master Wu shook his head, got up, and got off the brick bed. He looked through the window of the beer house and at the barren hills behind the house. Time is a lie in dreams. After I tell you, you'll be very surprised. Master Wu didn't finish his sentence at once. Instead, he gave Suyu some time to digest it. Perhaps he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to digest it. Suyu patted his chest. Master Wu, tell me. I can take it. After you entered the dream, you only had a long dream. The time in the dream is fake. So the clock, time, and calendar you saw were all dreams. The dream creator confused you, so you felt like a long time had passed. But in reality, it was only one night. I don't quite understand. Suyu was confused. Let me put it this way. When the hypnotist appeared, it was in the real world. You were drugged by the hypnotist, and then you started to hallucinate and finally entered the dream. In other words, no matter how many dream creators there are, no matter how big the dream is, their time is limited. They only have one night. So you people did it on the night they chose. That is, after everyone fell asleep at night, all of you entered the dream. In the real world, it was only one night, but in the dream, you felt like a long time had passed, more than a month, or even a year, or a lifetime. Hearing this, Suyu was completely dumbfounded. Master Wu meant that they had only slept for one night. That was why Uncle Li said that Qin Chu and Huamin were fine when they returned at night. However, after they fell asleep, there was no movement. Up until now, everything that had happened, no matter how long it had been in the dream, was just one night in reality. That's not right, Master Wu. I'm awake now. It's dawn, but they're all asleep. That's why I said you were lucky. Logically speaking, you shouldn't have woken up. After the dream creator achieved his goal, none of you should have been able to come back alive. I don't think the dream creator would be so kind. Also, you're back, so your time is normal, but the others are still in the dream. Of course, they won't be able to wake up. Also, as I said before, once the dream creator makes a move, none of your friends will be able to come back. So, you can treat your sleeping friends as vegetative people now. Fuck. How can I do that? I have so many friends, and all of them are vegetative people. I'm the only one who's still alive. I can't do that. Suyu almost cursed out loud. Qin Chu, Mian, and Tang Chuan, Qin Ning, Wei Liao, Jiang Xiaowei, Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling. There were so many people, but he was the only one who came back. If he lost such a large group of friends, then what was the point of him living in this world? Master, what do you want now? I know you're very powerful. Can you help me save my friends? I'm willing to do anything. Suyu could only place all his hopes on Master Wu. After all, this person's decryption was very reliable. I told you, I can't do anything about this, and I don't have the ability to do anything about it. Do you know how powerful dream creators are in dreams? They can change the scene at will and attack you at will. I can't even deal with one dream creator, and you want me to deal with 4 of them? A player like me might be tortured to death as soon as I enter the dream. Spare me, I haven't lived enough. Master Wu's attitude was very clear. He couldn't do anything about it, he couldn't save him, and his ability was limited. Suyu's eyes turned red. A heart-wrenching despair slowly rose from the bottom of his heart. Chapter 44:30. Kid, stupid donkey, I'm telling you, it's useless even if you cry. I really don't know what to do. I've already said enough. Creating dreams is really rare in our country. The person you've offended must be someone with a strong background. You can't beat him, Master Wu. Now that things have come to this, I can't save my friend, so I don't plan to go back. Suyu said with red eyes. What are you trying to do? Master Wu felt that there was a ball of fire in this kid's eyes that was about to burn. Master Wu thought that this kid had a bad temper and would probably kneel in front of the door and refuse to leave. After all, this was how many melodramatic television dramas played out. Unexpectedly, Suyu said, "I'm sticking to you and not leaving. I'll go wherever you go. I'll eat whatever you eat. If you sleep, I'll sleep." Master Wu was speechless. "What are you talking about? We're two men, eating and sleeping together in the same room. What does that look like?" "That's right. If you don't help me, I'll completely ruin your reputation. Think about it, what will the villagers think of you then?" Suyu smiled evilly. Master Wu was speechless. "Little brat, are you repaying kindness with evil?" "Sort of. Do you believe that I can use a spell to summon a female ghost to scare you to death?" Master Wu threatened. Suyu lay on the bed and crossed his long legs. "Up to you, but if you're looking for a female ghost, remember to find one with good looks. I like pretty girls." Master Wu was speechless. Master Wu didn't expect this kid called Suyu to be so shameless. However, he also knew that this kid was definitely loyal. If it were anyone else, they would be extremely lucky to know that they were out. They wouldn't care about the life and death of others. Therefore, Master Wu could basically see through Suyu's personality and character. All right, stop fooling around. Don't talk nonsense with me here. I've revealed enough to you today. Since you've solved the mystery in your heart, you should go back. You're the only child of the family after all. You're the only one in this generation of the Su family, right? Master Wu already knew Suyu's identity. However, even though he was a rich man with a military background, he still didn't receive any special treatment here. Master Wu had a strange personality and never spoiled the rich and powerful. Master Wu, to be honest, when I first came here, I was worried that you were a liar. Now that you've helped me solve so many mysteries, your position in my heart has really soared to the highest level. Be a good person to the end and help Buddha to the end. In the vast sea of people, it's also fate that I can ask you for help. Besides, you also said that Nun Ci and has a good relationship with my mother. Just based on this alone, you can't ignore my matters." Suyu stood up and stopped joking as he spoke to Master Wu seriously. Master Wu also became serious. He reached out his hand and tapped Suyu's head. "You're doing well. It's because I'm fated with you. I quite like your personality, and I also know about the relationship between my senior sister and your mother. That's why I can't let you continue fooling around." "I'm not fooling around. I just want to save my friends. It's that simple. Really, if I can save my friends, I won't pursue the person who instigated the dream. I just want my friends to come back safely." Suyu meant what he said. As long as everyone could come back, he wouldn't be able to cause another bloody storm. At this point, safety was a blessing. Chapter 44-31. Master Wu glanced at Suyu and said with a heavy heart, "Then listen carefully. Your friends are still in the dream. If you want to save them, you have to crack this dream. However, to crack such a big dream, you have to kill the dream creator first. Then kill them." "They're bad guys anyway," Suyu replied. "If you want to kill them, you have to enter the dream first. Outsiders can't enter the dream easily. Even if it's me, if I want to forcefully enter the dream, it'll take me 3 to 5 months. By then, your friends will probably be dead." "You can't, but I can. Didn't I get dragged in before? I just need to go back a second time. Can you teach me how to kill the dream creator?" Suyu's confidence was ignited. He felt that there would definitely be a way. Actually, Suyu was never stupid and was very smart. It was just that Qin Chu and Huamian's geniuses were too dazzling, so no one noticed Su Yu's brilliance. Previously, Qin Chu could see through Layla's flaws, but Su Yu could not. This was not a matter of IQ, this was a matter of understanding. Qin Chu had known Huamian for too many years. They were childhood sweethearts. He knew Huamian as well as he knew himself. Later on, the two of them got married and shared a bed every day. Therefore, Qin Chu remembered Huamian's scent very clearly. However, Su Yu was different. He had never been intimate with Huamian. He only understood one aspect of his personality and did not understand everything. From the looks of it, Su Yu wasn't just lucky to be able to come out. Master Wu had also said that Su Yu was aware that he was dreaming. That was why the dream was so weak in front of him. In the end, it collapsed easily and he escaped. Master Wu did not say who was suitable to enter the dream, but Su Yu guessed that since outsiders could not enter the dream. In that case, it should be very easy for him, who was familiar with going in. After Su Yu finished speaking, Master Wu was a little annoyed by this idea. He picked up a chunghua and lit it again. However, he didn't say anything for a long time. Master Wu, please say something. I'm so anxious, Su Yu, it wasn't easy for you to escape from death. You should be thanking the gods. You actually want to enter the dream a second time. I think you're crazy. Master Wu scolded Su Yu for being crazy. I'm not crazy. I just want to save my friends. But there's a price to pay for saving people, Master Wu said solemnly. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm willing to pay any price. Su Yu didn't even think about it as he happily said that he would accept any conditions. Master Wu fell silent again. Su Yu was very smart. Seeing Master Wu's expression, he knew that there might be something difficult to say. Master Wu, don't hide it from me. Tell me what you have to say. Really? I have a big heart, and I can take it. Master Wu took a deep puff of his cigarette and blew out a big smoke ring. White rings of smoke rose into the air in the room and gradually disappeared. At this moment, Su Yu heard Master Wu say, "Stupid donkey, listen carefully. People who enter the dream a second time can't come back." What do you mean? Perhaps Master Wu's words were too one-sided. He didn't explain much, so Su Yu didn't quite understand what he meant. It means that after you enter the dream a second time, there's only one outcome. Firstly, you fail and are tortured to death by the dream creator. You die in the dream. In reality, you die too. Secondly, you succeed. You kill the dream creator and save everyone, but you still won't be able to come back from the dream. Although you're not dead, it's no different from being dead. In other words, I will forever stay in the dream. Su Yu understood now. Chapter 44-32. Master Wu nodded. 5 seconds later, Su Yu smiled brightly. Sigh, I thought it was a big deal. This is nothing. As long as I save everyone, even if I stay in the dream, it's not bad. At least I can stay young forever in the dream, ha ha ha. Su Yu avoided such a heavy moment with a hearty smile. Master Wu looked at Su Yu with a complicated expression. He seemed to be starting to feel sorry for this little donkey. Although they had never met before, he liked this kid for some reason. Su Yu, you only have one life. It's not child's play, Master Wu reminded him kindly. Of course I know it's not child's play. Then don't learn from those anti-Japanese dramas. Sacrificing me will bring happiness to millions of people. Let me tell you, although this society is a little cold, it's definitely realistic. Everyone sweeps the snow in front of their own door and doesn't care about others. Even if you don't save your friends, no one will blame you. Morality will kidnap you because you really don't have the ability to save them. Master Wu, I understand what you mean. Actually, I'm not that great. Other than being reluctant to part with my good friends, I have a very simple goal. Master Wu looked at Suyu in confusion. Suyu lowered his head and smiled shyly. There's a girl I've liked for several years. She's also in the dream. My biggest wish in life is for her to be happy and safe, so I must save her. Master Wu had seen countless people over the years, so he was almost certain that Suyu's expression was real. There was no trace of pretense at all. In the end, he seemed to understand why Suyu was so stubborn and insisted on saving people. Ask the world what is love. At this moment, Master Wu thought of something Li Macho often said in The Return of the Condor Heroes. Without waiting for Master Wu to speak, Suyu added with a cheeky smile, everything has its vanquisher. Master Wu was speechless. Master Wu, since we're so fated, why don't I acknowledge you as my master? Don't try to curry favor with me. Master Wu rolled his eyes at Suyu. Everyone knew that this kid's motive for suddenly acknowledging a master was obvious. I'm not trying to get close to you. I really admire your ability. Before I came, I thought you were just a scammer. Now that I look at you, you are indeed a little better than a scammer, haha. What a joke. Is that just a little bit awesome? When I was running around, those scammers were still wearing diapers. Master Wu tilted his head and said narcissistically. Of course I believe you. But what I'm especially curious about is that you're a Taoist, and Nun Ci and is a Buddhist. The two of you are actually from the same sect. It's a little messy. I'm not well educated, don't lie to me. Suyu had always been puzzled. An old Taoist priest and a nun. They didn't match. Master Wu's face darkened. He pointed at Suyu and scolded, you stupid donkey, you really don't read much. Haven't you heard of Buddhism and Taoism? Oh. Suyu pretended to be enlightened, but he obviously couldn't be convinced by Master Wu's words. Seeing that Suyu didn't believe him, Master Wu waved his hand and said impatiently, all right. To tell you the truth, I was originally a monk and cultivated in a temple with my senior sister. Later on, I couldn't take it anymore and kept eating vegetables. I was dying of cravings, so I returned to the secular world, ha 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 ha. Master Wu, so you're also a carnivore. Fellow cultivator, come, let's shake hands. Suyu laughed until he was convulsing. Chapter 44-33. Suyu felt that Master Wu was especially cute at this moment. It wasn't a sin to love meat, get lost. Don't talk nonsense with me. Master, please accept Suyu's bow. Without any warning, Suyu knelt down on both knees and bowed to Master Wu. This made Master Wu have mixed feelings. He had never taken in any disciple in his life. His parents had passed away early, and he had no wife or children. Therefore, he was not mentally prepared for Suyu's bow, and he couldn't describe how he felt. Get up, little brat. I'm not your master. I can't teach you anything. I don't need you to teach me anything. Hee hee. To be honest, I just like your free and easy look. Melancholy and deep eyes, a body covered in dust, and that hairstyle that even birds wouldn't dare to land on your head to poop. Suyu looked up and smiled cheekily again. Master Wu was speechless. You stupid donkey, right now. Get out of here. Master Wu was played by this kid again. However, Suyu had never seen such a slovenly person like Master Wu. He felt like he was a homeless man. His beard was unkempt, and his hair was messy. It was a horrible sight. No. Master, come back to Sea City with me. I'll buy you a big house, a car, and a bunch of wives for you. I'll take you to eat delicacies. When you die of old age, I'll choose a place with good feng shui on the North Mountain for you, with the mountain facing the sea. How about that? Suyu didn't know that he was so good at flirting. Could it be that Mian was no longer around, so he could release all his power? In the past, no matter what he said, he was rendered speechless by Huamin. Master Wu didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he looked at Suyu. Thank you. I still want to live for a few more years, so don't choose a grave for me. But you can take me to eat delicacies. In my city, there's a roast duck restaurant that's especially authentic. Do you want to try it with me? Suyu began to throw out the temptation of delicious food. As expected, Master Wu's stance was not firm. Roast duck, is it delicious? He asked. Yeah, it's delicious. You'll want to eat it again. Suyu tried his best to describe the aroma of the roast duck. Master Wu held his chin reservedly and was conflicted. Taking advantage of Master Wu's hesitation, Suyu grabbed his arm and pulled him out. Hey. What are you doing? I haven't even said I'm going yet. Why are you forcing me to do something against my will? Although Master Wu kept struggling, his actions betrayed him. Therefore, when Hing saw Suyu get into the car with Master Wu, he was a little shocked. Brother Suyu, I want to bring my master back to Sea City. Suyu said proudly. But this sports car won't fit. Heng looked troubled. You can choose to sit on Master Wu's lap or let Master Wu sit on your lap. Hearing his words, Heng almost knelt down in front of him. In the end, Heng said, Brother Suyu, you guys go first. I'll call my friends nearby to pick me up. He definitely wouldn't dare to sit on Master Wu's lap. If he let Master Wu sit on his lap, Xiao Heng was afraid that his legs would be crippled by his 150-kilogram body. He waited until Suyu left in his sports car. Only then did Heng realize that Suyu had said something very important. He said, My master, could it be that? Brother Suyu had acknowledged Master Wu as his master. Heng was a little shocked. Didn't they say that there were countless people who wanted to acknowledge Master Wu as their master all these years, but he didn't accept any of them? Chapter 44-34. Master Wu had never been in a sports car before, so when he got on the highway, he felt like he was about to fly. It was especially exciting. Sitting in the front passenger seat, he actually started to play a Beijing opera tune in a low voice to express his mood of flying at this moment. Since Suyu was able to pull the expert back, he felt more confident. When they arrived in Sea City, Suyu pulled Master Wu to the restaurant where Suyu used to eat roast duck. After ordering, Master Wu reached out to pull off the roast duck's leg, but Suyu stopped him. Master, before we eat, I have a question. Ask. Master Wu drooled as he looked at the roast duck. How much longer can my friends hold on? How much time do we have left for me to save them? What time is it now? Master Wu asked Suyu. Suyu looked down at his watch. It's 1 in the afternoon. Yes, before the sun sets, they will fall into a deep sleep forever or die in their dreams, Master Wu said calmly. However, Suyu jumped up when he heard this. It meant that his friends and Huamian had less than 5 hours left. In the northern winter, the sun usually set at 5 o'clock. Master, let's not eat for now, okay? What's the rush? Let me finish. When my friends come back, I'll treat you to this every day and every year. Suyu felt that time was too rushed, so he didn't have the mood to eat roast duck with Master Wu. Therefore, regardless of whether Master Wu was willing or not, he dragged him out. Master Wu was not to be outdone. Before he left, he hurriedly tore off a roast duck leg. Then, Suyu drove Master Wu to his private mansion. He dragged him all the way into Anne's room. "Master, look at my friend. This kid has been with me for a few years. He's my chauffeur, bodyguard, and assistant. We have a deep relationship, like brothers." Pointing at Anne, who was still sleeping on the bed, "So you didn't feel good about it?" Master Wu looked at Anne as he chewed on the roast duck. He nodded. "Yes, that's right. This is the state of entering a dream. He entered a dream in real life, so what you saw in the dream is the real him and not a dream creator's creation." "Master, how do I enter the dream a second time?" "So you mentioned returning to the dream a second time." Master Wu let go of the roast duck leg in his mouth, and his eyes dimmed slightly. To be honest, he didn't want Suyu to enter the dream a second time, because he knew what he had to do, but he also knew that he couldn't change this little idiot. He was too stubborn. Moreover, there was the girl he loved deeply in his dream. "Master, there's not much time left. Now that things have come to this, please don't hold me back. Saving a life is more meritorious than building a 7-story pagoda. I'm going back this time to save all my friends. It's not difficult to enter the dream, but we have to find the hypnotist who lured you in. I have to go through her to get you back." At this point, Master Wu was no longer in the mood to eat. He threw the remaining roast duck leg into the trash can. Then, he rubbed his oily hand against the corner of his shirt. He really didn't care about trifles. However, Suyu was not in the mood to tease Master Wu. He didn't have much time left, Mion didn't have much time left, and everyone didn't have much time left. Hypnotist. There are only a few hours left. How am I supposed to find her? Suyu was in despair. Where was he supposed to find Xingro in this sea of people? Wasn't this like looking for a needle in a haystack? Don't worry. With so many of you entering the dream at the same time, the hypnotist won't go far in order to help the dream creator control the situation. She should be in this city, and she might not be far from your residence, Master Wu said with certainty. Master Wu's words surprised Suyu. Chapter 44-35. Really, is she in this city? Suyu was pleasantly surprised at first, but after thinking it through, his eyes dimmed. That's still hard to find. It's such a big city, even the police can't find her. What are we going to do? She doesn't have a GPS on her. Plus, she must be hiding very well. We won't find her easily. Suyu was almost certain that it was Xingro. This was because there were only 2 newcomers in their group. One was Xingro and the other was Han Yueyao. Suyu liked Han Yueyao more, so he didn't want to suspect her. Especially just now, Master Wu's meaning was obvious. The hypnotist and the dream creator were in cahoots. In order to maintain the dream, they wouldn't go far. Therefore, they wouldn't leave this city. However, on the way back, Suyu took the time to read the report in the company's group chat. He accidentally saw Han Yueyao's schedule. Han Yueyao had already gone overseas to film a martial arts movie 3 days ago. There were a lot of fighting scenes, so she went to a film studio to stay for 2 months. Thus, he was even more certain that Han Yueyao wasn't the hypnotist. Then, only Xingro was left. Xingro's appearance made Suyu uncomfortable. It was as if this woman was very scheming and couldn't be seen through. In the end, Suyu still didn't understand who Xingro was and who she worked for. Now that Master Wu wanted him to find Xingro in such a short time, it was also a problem. Seeing Suyu's melancholy, Master Wu said slowly, "This woman was very close to you guys, right?" "Yeah, she stayed at my house for a while," Suyu told the truth. "She stayed at your house, that's easy. Do you have anything she used?" Suyu thought for a moment, ran to a cabinet on the first floor, and took out a paper bag. Inside were some toiletries from when Xingro was around. and had packed them up and didn't have the time to throw them away. Master Wu flipped through it and pulled out a strand of hair from a towel. Very good. With it, I can help you find them. You just need to capture them. That's great, Master, you're too amazing. I really want to kiss you. Seeing that Master Wu had a way to find Xingro, Siyu was overjoyed and hugged Master Wu's neck. However, Master Wu kicked him away. Brat, don't take advantage of me. In the living room, Master Wu took out 3 incense sticks from his cloth bag. Then, he sat down cross-legged and placed Xingro's hair on an incense stick in the middle of the room. Instantly, the smell of burning filled the air. Then, Master Wu took out a compass. The innermost part was written with conviction and conviction, so you didn't hear it clearly, but it had been less than 5 minutes. Master Wu stood up and put away the compass. This woman lives in a courtyard about 5 kilometers northeast of your current residence. It's a bungalow with a large locust tree at the entrance. After getting the detailed information, Siyu made a phone call. Xingro probably didn't expect to be caught, and her location was so accurate. 5 kilometers northeast of Suyu's private villa was a civilian area that hadn't been demolished. Inside, there were a few nail households and a few deserted houses. The people Suyu sent were the elites of the SWAT team. They were people who were mobilized because of the old master. When Xingro was brought to Suyu's villa, especially when she saw Suyu, she was shocked. It was almost as if he was shocked, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Suyu. How did you? Xingro's eyes widened. You probably didn't expect to see me again, right? Grand hypnotist. Suyu smiled faintly. Chapter 44-36. Xingro had never thought that she would be able to see Suyu again. This was because she had been ordered to come into contact with Suyu and be with Suyu, chasing after Suyu. Everyone thought it was true. It was undeniable that Suyu was a good man. Any woman who spent time with him for a long time would be moved. Therefore, Xingro had warned herself countless times not to fall in love with Suyu. This was because her big boss's ultimate goal was to obtain the red demon. And Suyu and the others would all become sacrificial lambs. As for Xingro, her resume was blank, and no one could find any clues. That was because the resume itself was fake. However, Xingro was chosen and trusted by the big boss not because she was beautiful, but because she was too beautiful. It wasn't because Xingro was smart or skilled. In fact, Xingro's martial arts were only superficial. After a while, Xingro calmed down. She looked at Suyu and said faintly, "You actually escaped. Yeah, I've always been lucky. Otherwise, I would have been killed by you guys. But I'm very curious, Xingro. What grudge do we have? Why do you want to kill us? You hypnotized all of us alone. How can you bear to kill so many people at once? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning?" Suyu used to think that women like Imo Shui, Xiao Qinya, Jian Tong, and Song Yishir were already vicious. However, they only harmed Huamin because of him and Qin Chu. As for Xingro, Suyu knew that Xingro definitely wouldn't do this because she liked him. However, once Xingro attacked, they would indeed be wiped out. To kill so many people, and to do it quietly, this was a terrifying poisonous woman. This was the true heart of a snake and scorpion. Hee, I was just following orders, Xingro chuckled and said casually. Orders? Whose orders are you following? You know I won't tell you, but you're really capable. You were able to escape and capture me. You must have been taught by an expert, right? Xingro had been living abroad when she was a hypnotist. This was because not many people in the country knew about the hypnotist industry. Therefore, if Suyu didn't have an expert by his side, he wouldn't have been able to escape and capture her. I'll give you a chance. Xingro, help me save my friend and you'll make up for your mistake. I won't hold you responsible, what a joke. Are you asking me to betray my boss? Xing-Ro sneered. What else? Do you want to die? Su-Yu pulled out a dagger and pressed it against Xing-Ro's neck. At this moment, Su-Yu really wanted to kill her. Even if this woman died 100 times, it wouldn't be a pity. But Xing-Ro had a terrifying talent. She is a famous hypnotist in the field of hypnosis, codename Lin. Therefore, many people knew about Lin, the hypnotist, but not Xing-Ro. If it weren't for Master Wu's reminder, Su-Yu might not have known Xing-Ro's true identity. After Xing-Ro hypnotized everyone, she had been hiding in the dark. Actually, she was conflicted. After all, these people would all die in the end. She could be indifferent when others died, but if Su-Yu died in his dream, she couldn't bear it. However, she didn't dare to disobey the orders of her boss. Therefore, when Xing-Ro saw Su-Yu again, she had mixed feelings. On one hand, she was shocked that Su-Yu had woken up. He wasn't in a dream. On the other hand, Su-Yu waking up meant that he had escaped the nightmare. This was a good thing for him. Xing-Ro was relieved that Su-Yu wasn't dead. Chapter 44-37. Master Wu just watched quietly from the side and didn't stop Su-Yu. Su-Yu used all his strength to press the tip of the knife against her neck. Therefore, slightly blood seeped out, however, there was no fear in Xing-Ro's eyes. She continued to smile. Su-Yu, if you want to kill me, hurry up. Don't waste time. I won't tell you anything you want to ask. Xing-Ro, I'm not asking for too much. I just want you to help me save my friends. You have friends and family too. How can you be so cruel? When you were here, we didn't neglect you. People's hearts are made of flesh. Do you really have a heart of stone? Su-Yu actually wanted to move her. After all, with Xing-Ro's status, even if she was tortured, she probably wouldn't say anything. Unfortunately, everything didn't go so smoothly. Su-Yu, I really don't have the ability to save them. In the dream, everything is decided by the dream creator. If I enter the dream now, I'll definitely be treated as an outsider and tortured to death. The result will be the same, so I might as well die in your hands. After all, you're the only man I've ever truly liked in my life. With that, Xing-Ro licked Su-Yu's hand. Su-Yu immediately pulled the dagger back and threw it on the ground. Then, he took out a tissue and wiped his hands. You disgust me. Su-Yu glared at her and stood up. Master, it's your turn. This woman is stubborn. Su-Yu knew that Xing-Ro didn't want to tell him or help him into the dream, but Master Wu definitely had a way. As expected, Master Wu slowly stood up. He patted the dust off his body. He walked up to Xing-Ro. The most famous hypnotist on the dark web. Lin, right? Master Wu said. Xing-Ro was slightly stunned when she heard someone call her by her name. Then, she looked at the middle-aged man with messy hair who was dressed in a rustic manner. She was curious and vigilant. Say, you're so young. Of all the things you could do, you chose to be an executioner. My foolish disciple still hopes to move you with the emotional card. That's because he doesn't know about the glorious deeds you've done in the past. At this point, Su-Yu was startled. Why did it sound like his master knew more than him? Wasn't this the first time Master met Xing-Ro? Xing-Ro remained calm, but the arrogance and smugness in her eyes were gone. As a high-level hypnotist, you've been contacting those perverts on the dark web, helping them hypnotize the targets they want to attack, and then sending them all over the world. Most of the hypnotized targets are beautiful girls between the ages of 16 to 21, and most of them are used as prostitutes and eventually tortured to death. Every year, through your hands, there are at least 80 girls who go missing, if not 100, right? Xingro stared at the man in front of her in disbelief. Who are you? She asked Master Wu. Master Wu only chuckled and didn't answer. When Suyu heard this, he felt the blood in his body freeze. Master, is this all true? Suyu used to think that Xingro was a little hypocritical and unlikable. She was a little scheming. Now, it seemed that it wasn't just that. She was really a demon who killed without batting an eyelid. She could actually hypnotize those girls and take them away, and she didn't seem to feel guilty at all. It's not just that. What she's done in the past few years is far dirtier than we thought. Otherwise, how did her father get his position? Master Wu sneered. At this moment, Xingro stared into Master Wu's eyes and said in a hollow voice, "Look into my eyes. There's a small path in front of you. It twists and turns, and it leads to the deepest part of the forest." Suyut screamed in his heart. This woman was going to hypnotize his master. Chapter 44-38. Before Suyu could tell Master Wu to be careful of Xingro, he felt his vision go dark, and then he entered another scene. Suyu looked down at his surroundings. He was surrounded by green fog, there was only a winding path under his feet, in front of him was a dense forest. Suyu. I'm here, ha ha ha, a girl's voice came from the depths of the forest. At first, Suyu didn't hear it clearly, but when he listened carefully, he realized that voice was actually Mion's. Suyu, come find me. I'm here, ha ha ha. Then, there was another series of laughter. Suyu had always been unable to control his feelings for Huimin. Just listening to her voice made him feel very close. Therefore, he didn't have time to think about anything else. He just followed the path under his feet, because he was blocked by the fog, he couldn't see clearly, so he could only grope his way forward. Suyu shouted as he walked, "Mion, is that you? Mion, answer me." However, Suyu didn't get any response after shouting for a long time. In a daze, Suyu saw a fleeting figure standing not far ahead. "Mion, is that you?" he asked again. But he still didn't get an answer. Suyu tried to continue forward, but the closer he got, the more he realized that the figure seemed to be holding something in her hand. He felt that something was wrong. That's not right. Mion is pregnant. Shouldn't she be pregnant? That person isn't Mion. No. When Suyu realized that the slender figure wasn't Huimin, suddenly, he heard footsteps. "Suyu. Come here, come here. Why aren't you walking?" The voice was still Huimin's, but it sounded distant and close at times. It was extremely strange. Suyu stood where he was, feeling like he had forgotten something. What had he forgotten? As he pondered, he subconsciously reached out to touch his neck. Sure enough, he touched the amulet. Then, his mind exploded. This isn't reality. He's being hypnotized. This is an illusion. That person isn't Huimin. This is all part of Xingro's plan. After Suyu muttered to himself, he closed his eyes and began chanting the familiar Great Compassion mantra with the amulet in hand. Sure enough, in an instant, that scene collapsed before his eyes. When Suyu opened his eyes again, he found himself back in the real world. He immediately went to check on Master Wu, afraid that Master Wu would be tricked by Xingro like him. However, Master Wu was calmly sitting on the chair with his legs crossed. Meanwhile, Xingro's head was covered by a white cloth by Master Wu. She looked like a dead person and was terrified. "Master, this is..." Suyu was dumbfounded. "Not bad, you can still remember that you were hypnotized. I thought you were trapped by this woman. Then, Master, why aren't you saving me?" Suyu rolled his eyes at Master Wu. It was obvious that Master Wu was more skilled and didn't fall for it. Instead, Suyu, who was facing Xingro, fell for it. Save you? How many more times can I save you? This is just an appetizer. This woman only used hypnotism. Once you return to the dream, you won't be facing such a low-level hypnotist. You'll be facing 4 high-level dream creators. Who can save you then? Master Wu had never spoken to Suyu in such a serious tone. Therefore, Suyu knew that his master was not exaggerating. Chapter 44-39. As an entry-level hypnotist, Xingro was already very evil and powerful. If Suyu returned to the dream, it would be even more dangerous. Master Wu had also said that as an outsider, he was not considered by the dream creator. It would take at least 3 to 5 months for him to enter the dream. There was not enough time. Therefore, it was impossible for him to accompany Suyu into the dream. Therefore, when Xingro used hypnotism, Master Wu did not stop her. In fact, he also wanted to see how strong Suyu was. Could he save himself in the face of such a sudden incident? Fortunately, Suyu was smart and was not trapped by Xingro's hypnotism. This more or less made Master Wu feel more at ease. After Suyu woke up, Master Wu picked up a white cloth and covered Xingro's head. Because her hands and feet were tied, she couldn't resist. It was obvious that he didn't want to be hypnotized by her eyes. However, when she heard Master Wu say that Suyu was going back to the dream, Xingro seemed surprised. Suyu, you're going back to the dream? Xingro's voice was sharp. What does that have to do with you? Now that he knew Xingro's true identity, Suyu hated her even more. Although Suyu didn't think he was a kind person, for someone like Xingro who had done many evil things, she was simply a scourge in the world. Suyu, are you courting death? Do you know that people who enter the dream a second time will never come back? Don't be fooled by this stinky Daoist priest. How much did he charge you? Xingro felt that it was ridiculous for Suyu to find a swindler somewhere. If he entered the dream a second time, he might be tortured to death. Even if I'm a stinky Daoist priest, I'm still stronger than you. I won't do anything outrageous. Master Wu chuckled. Suyu looked at Xingro, who was covered by a white cloth, and was very annoyed. Master, let's cut the crap. We've found the hypnotist. Send me back. Master Wu knew that Suyu was referring to the dream. No, Suyu. If you go back, they'll kill you. Xingro was so anxious that she almost stomped her foot. Although she had done something unfavorable to Suyu, she couldn't just watch Suyu go back to die. She must be feeling terrible. She knew very well how many dream creators there were in the dream. She knew very well where those dream creators came from and who they were loyal to. As for the abilities of those dream creators, there was no need to mention them. Any one of them would be able to beat her. Therefore, she felt that Suyu was crazy to have such perverted dream creators in there, and there were 4 of them. Seeing that Xingro was anxious, Suyu smiled. Are you referring to those dream creators? Xingro remained silent. She didn't know that Suyu knew so much, even about dream creators. Xingro, if you want to repent, I'll give you a chance. Tell me, who are the dream creators? Suyu didn't have much hope when he asked. After all, Xingro had been a bad person for so long, so she definitely wouldn't speak easily. As expected, Xingro didn't say anything. You won't be able to get anything out of her. She probably doesn't dare to say anything. Master Wu guessed. Suyu, can't you just live well? Why do you have to go back and die? Xingro didn't understand. Suyu was rich, handsome, and powerful. Was he tired of living? Why did he have to go back to the dream to die? My friends are still here. I can't leave them behind. Ha ha ha, you can't let go of Huamin, right? Xingro laughed bitterly. She had never envied any woman in her life, but now, she was suddenly envious of Huamin. There was actually an idiot like Su Yu who was willing to go through fire for her. Chapter 44-40. At the mention of Huamin, Su Yu's expression changed slightly. Actually, he knew in his heart that no matter when, where, or under any circumstances, the name Huamin was destined to be a curse that he would never be able to get rid of. Master, let's not waste time talking to this woman. Let's begin. Su Yu kept looking at his watch. He knew that time was limited, so he didn't want to waste too much time talking to Xingro. In the past, he might have felt a little guilty towards Xingro. But now, Su Yu felt that there was no longer any emotional entanglement between him and Xingro. There was only the fact that good and evil could not coexist. Okay, let's go out first. Master Wu also stood up slightly. However, before he left, he still took out a yellow talisman and stuck it on Xingro's forehead. He knew what Xingro was capable of, so he didn't want her to hypnotize Su Yu's subordinates and escape. Master Wu and Su Yu walked out of the secret room one after another. Master, what do I need to prepare for the second dream entry? You and that woman are enough. Master Wu's tone was heavy. So simple. Then hurry up, we don't have much time. Su Yu looked at his watch again. However, Master Wu wasn't in a hurry to answer him. Instead, he tugged at Su Yu's sleeve and the two of them went to the balcony on the second floor of the villa. The girl you like is called Huamin. Master Wu didn't know Huamin. He had only heard about it from Xingro. Ah, yes. Although Su Yu felt embarrassed, he still nodded and admitted it. Do you think it's worth risking your life for the girl you like? Su Yu didn't say anything. Do you think you can face your parents and your grandfather? The Su family has very few people to begin with. Do you have the heart to let them send you off? Indeed, the problem that Master Wu mentioned was something that Su Yu didn't dare to face head-on. Su Yu was the kind of child who grew up with a golden spoon in his mouth. When he was born, he had everything. With the Su family's status in this city, they could get whatever they wanted. Su Yu had also lived a life of luxury since he was young. He enjoyed the love of his parents and his grandfather. His life had been so smooth, therefore, this decision was indeed somewhat selfish. According to China's traditional thinking, one's body, hair, and skin were all given to one's parents. Seeking death was a great unfilial act. However, Su Yu also understood that if he didn't go, then he would be a walking corpse for the rest of his life. Therefore, after Master Wu asked this question, Su Yu smiled and took out a pack of soft zhonghua. He handed one to Master Wu and took one himself. Master, tell me, what is the purpose of living? Your question is too broad. I don't even know how to answer you. Master Wu smiled as well. Su Yu took a puff of his cigarette and continued, actually, I think that no matter how one lives, one's life has to be meaningful. One can't just be muddle-headed and live in this world for decades. Some people actually die at the age of 30 and are only buried at the age of 70. That kind of death of the soul is actually more terrifying than the death of the body. My good brothers and good friends are like my soul to me. It's because of their existence that a living, flesh and blood Su Yu was created. If I gave up on saving them because I was afraid of death this time, then my soul would die as well. The rest of my life would be just dawdling around until I'm 70 or 80 years old. Then, I'll be buried like this for the rest of my life. I know that I've let down my parents and grandfather with this decision, but I believe that compared to death, they don't want to see me live like a walking corpse for the rest of my life. You dumb little donkey. You're really good at talking about grand principles. Master Wu smiled bitterly. He already knew that even 10 cows wouldn't be able to pull back the stubborn Su Yu. He was determined to enter the dream a second time and face those almost impossible missions. Chapter 44-41. Hee, Master, I'm actually not that stupid, am I? Besides, I still have my amulet and great compassion mantra. In order not to worry Master Wu, Su Yu touched the amulet on his neck. However, Master Wu gave him a profound look. Previously, your amulet and great compassion mantra were useful because you realized that you were dreaming, so you woke up. However, people who enter a dream a second time won't wake up. Therefore, your amulet and great compassion mantra are almost useless this time. Ha! I see. Then what should I do? Why don't I bring an AK-47 and kill all those dream creators? Su Yu was only joking. However, Master Wu couldn't laugh at all. You can't bring anything in. I don't have the ability to let you bring weapons in. Because that's a dream created by them. Whatever they say will happen. Whoa! That dream creator is so awesome. It makes me want to be a dream creator too. Su Yu was amused. Stop laughing. You probably won't be able to cry later, Master, please. As your disciple, I don't think I've given you any gifts. I know you treat money like dirt, so I won't give you any money. Who said that? Who doesn't love money? I'll take as much as you have. Give it to me. Master Wu glared at Su Yu on purpose. Su Yu reached out and took out a small golden bag from his pocket. He had found it when he went back to his bedroom. Su Yu had a lot of good things in his villa, but he was afraid that Master Wu wouldn't want it. Therefore, he took this. Master, this is a token of my appreciation. I, Su Yu, am satisfied to be your disciple in this life. Su Yu handed over the yellow bag with both hands. What is it? I don't want diamonds or jewelry. I don't have a wife, so it's useless even if I want it. Master Wu waved his hand, afraid that Su Yu would give him some gold, diamonds, agate, or jewelry. None of them. Take a look first. Su Yu smiled mysteriously. Master Wu looked at Su Yu and then at the yellow bag. Finally, he picked it up and slowly opened it. When he took it out, he realized that it was just a string of prayer beads. However, these were not ordinary Buddhist beads. Almost all of Su Yu's things were made by famous masters. They were either bought at an auction or given to him by his friends on his birthday. The Su family was a Buddhist family. Therefore, on Su Yu's birthday, his uncle, who was Su Xiaoxiao's grandfather, was there. He got this good thing from the south for him. However, Su Yu had never liked wearing them. After all, in this era where culture was rampant, wearing such a large string of Buddha beads would make one look like a nouveau riche. Who would have thought that it would come in handy today? Master Wu was quite knowledgeable and immediately saw through it. This is the Vajra Bodhi, right? Master has good foresight. It's too expensive. I don't want it. This thing is worth at least 3 to 5 million yuan, Master Wu said firmly. Although he was poor and had poor food and accommodation, it didn't mean that he hadn't seen good things. Especially the 4 green beads in the middle of the bracelet, they looked priceless. Master Wu could tell that they were expensive Buddha beads, so he refused to accept them. However, Su Yu forcefully put the Buddha beads on Master Wu's hand. Master, take it. Back then, when Sun Wukong became Tang Sanzang's disciple, he even knew to escort him to the Western Paradise to retrieve the scriptures and kill demons. As for me, I can't do anything for you. After I enter the dream this time, I might never have the chance to do anything for you again. Just treat it as a memento. You and I are master and disciple, after all, we are fated. Suyu put on the Buddha beads for Master Wu. Shut up, stupid donkey. Stop talking. I don't want to hear that. Master Wu's eyes were moist. Chapter 44-42. Although Master Wu was a rough man in the mountains, he was very meticulous. He had lived a carefree and unrestrained life. He didn't expect to have such a deep relationship with this brat whom he had only known for a few days. Actually, it was also fate that Suyu's mother was an old friend of Master Wu's senior sister. None of this was important. What was important was that Master Wu valued this kid's character. It was said that other than life and death, everything else in this world was trivial. However, Suyu knew that he was going to die, but he still wanted to go. There probably weren't many people like him left, right? Yes, yes. Let's not talk about this anymore. Come, master, take it. This is my gift for acknowledging you as my master. Suyu tried his best to ask Master Wu to accept the priceless Buddha beads so that they wouldn't waste their fate as masters. Seeing Suyu's sincerity, Master Wu didn't continue to be pretentious. He slapped his thigh and touched the Buddha beads. All right, since you've given it to me, I'll accept it shamelessly. But as your master, I'll have to give you something in return. I've been poor for half my life, and I don't have anything valuable on me. All I have is some scrap metal, and you won't be interested in them. How about this? I'll give you a peace rope. With that, Master Wu bent down and took out a red rope that looked like a china knot from his old bag. There was only a red rope and no other decorations. It looked very monotonous. However, since it was Master Wu's red rope, it must be something good. It couldn't be as simple as an ordinary red rope. Suyu didn't ask further and happily put the red rope on his hand. Then, he heard Master Wu say, "This red rope has been consecrated. I personally knitted it. It doesn't have any special effects. It's just a peace rope. In your dream, it might not have any effect. Consider it a blessing from me. Even if you can't come back, I hope you'll be fine in your dream." When Master Wu said this, his heart ached. Unexpectedly, after Suyu put it on happily, he chuckled, and then joked, "With this artifact given by Master, I'll definitely be like a fish in water in my dream. By then, I'll probably be drunk every day, eating, drinking, playing, and flirting with girls until my waist and legs ache. That's really the life of an immortal. It's better than real life." Master Wu knew that Suyu had said that on purpose because he didn't want to be emotional and make him feel so upset. "Alright, that's it then. Cut the crap, I'll go and prepare. I'll give you 1 more hour. If you want to meet someone or go somewhere, then hurry up and go. After all, after you enter the dream a second time, you won't be able to come back." Although this sounded ominous and uncomfortable, it was an unchangeable fact. Suyu nodded and instructed his subordinates to prepare some things for Master Wu that he would need later. Then, he drove the Lamborghini 6th Elemental back to the Su family's old mansion. Suyu's Lamborghini had crashed once, and he was too lazy to fix it. He didn't want to buy the same car. However, the old man doted on his grandson. When he heard that the car had broken down, he got someone to customize an identical one overseas for him. Suyu's Lamborghini had mixed feelings as he drove. His car stopped near the old mansion. Yes, he didn't plan to go back and see his mother for the last time. It was just a farewell. He didn't want to make it so sad. Perhaps after seeing her, it would be even harder to part with her. Suyu sat in the car for a while. Then, he got out of the car and kowtowed 3 times in the direction of the old mansion. Chapter 44-43. Grandpa, Dad, Mom. I'm unfilial. I'll repay you for raising me in my next life. With that, Suyuk kowtowed with tears in his eyes, got into the car, and sped away. At this moment, regarding the company, career, contract, money, savings, he didn't want to explain anything, and he couldn't be bothered to do so. There were still 25 minutes left before his master gave him the time. Suyu drove for a spin on the way back and thought about everything that had happened recently. He wanted to know the whole story from start to finish. First, many things that happened between him and Han Yueyao were in his dreams, including the death of Lin Hang, Xiao Xiao coming back to hire someone to kill him, and Han Yueyao leaving the entertainment industry to return to her hometown. These all happened in his dreams. In real life, Han Yueyao was still a small character in his company. Although she didn't stand out or become famous, she had already started to play small roles or show her face in some TV series. Second, reality and dreams kept combining, making it hard to tell what happened in the dream and what happened in reality. However, the good news was that the monster, Layla, also appeared in the dream, so there was no monster that drank human blood. Not many people in this city died because of this, including those who were killed by Jingde. Or rather, Bella, who became a vegetable, Jixin's wife, also became a vegetable in the dream. In the real world, she might be fine. Suyu didn't have time to verify this. According to Master Wu, his current deduction was correct. Third, Xingro was indeed a hypnotist. As a guide, she led so many people into the dream and into the big picture. The Xingro in the dream, the Xing meat that Hua Xiqin said was dead, was made up by the dream creator. It wasn't real, so Xingro didn't die. Fourth, was Hua Xiqin really dead or was he faking it? He saw him explode in front of him with his own eyes. However, according to Master Wu, if Hua Xiqin didn't enter the dream and that Hua Xiqin was made up, then the real Hua Xiqin might still be alive. However, if Hua Xiqin also entered the dream and was killed in the dream, then he was really dead. Just like all of them, if they were killed in the dream, they would be dead. He didn't have time to investigate Hua Xiqin now, because if he wanted to investigate Hua Xiqin, he had to start with the prison. Gao Ran had already entered the dream, so he had to alert his grandfather. However, his grandfather was still in the capital, so he didn't have that much time for him. Therefore, Suyu decided to keep this matter to himself. When he returned to the dream, he would confirm and analyze it with Qin Chu. Fifth, there were 4 dream creators in the dream, and their identities were all hidden. No one knew who they were. In Master Wu's words, dream creators were the best at disguising themselves. If they disguised themselves as your friend, you wouldn't be able to tell. Therefore, anyone could be suspected, including Qin Chu and Hua Min. This was also the biggest problem. Suyu wasn't Sherlock Holmes, so he couldn't verify who was real and who was a dream creator. Sixth, Xingro was used as a catalyst to lure so many people into the dream. It made sense for those who had come into contact with Xingro to successfully enter the dream, but how did those who had never come into contact with Xingro enter the dream? For example, Qiao Fei, Lu Yan, Professor Rick, even Ian, Nalo. How did those people get in? Were those people all imaginary? With so many questions on his mind, Suyu drove the car to the private mansion at the appointed time. Then, he asked his subordinates to leave and locked the door. Chapter 44-44. Master, how are the preparations? It's almost done. Then, Master Wu looked out the window. The moment the sun sets, we'll start. I'll send you in. After you enter, you'll definitely attract the attention of the 4 dream creators. After all, in their eyes, you're a fish that escaped the net. After you return to the dream world, you'll be hunted down by them. But the good thing is that you can successfully divert their attention so that they can't immediately attack your friends. That's great. Suyu smiled. Stupid donkey, you're being hunted down, yet you can still smile. But it can buy more time for everyone. It means that it's meaningful for me to go back. Sigh. Hearing Suyu's words, Master Wu sighed slightly and didn't know what to say. By the way, Master, before entering the dream, there are 2 things I want to know. Suyu thought about the questions in his heart. Ask away. The first question is, if Xing-Ro, the woman inside, hypnotized everyone into a dream, you mean that she had to come into contact with everyone to have a chance to drug them into a dream, right? Master Wu nodded. But what if people she hasn't come into contact with also entered the dream? Does that mean those people are all fictional? Or did the dream creators change them? Suyu actually wanted to ask why Qiao Fei, Lu Yan, and the professor, who had nothing to do with Xing-Ro, had all entered the dream. Master Wu explained, let me give you an example. For example, something happened in a village and someone saw it. Then, he slowly spread the news and told everyone. 1 person spread the news, 10 people spread it to 100 people, understand? Oh. Master, you mean that the drug can be spread? Even if Xing-Ro hasn't come into direct contact with some people, as long as they come into contact with her, they will still be affected. Smart. This was the first time Master Wu had praised Suyu because he realized that Suyu's logical thinking was actually very strong. Then I understand. Lin Fan nodded. It occurred to Suyu that Xing-Ro might have drugged Huamin the most. Huamin believed it and treated the dream as reality. Naturally, he would bring Lu Yan and Qiao Fei into the dream. Since Lu Yan and Qiao Fei had the opportunity to meet the professor, it made sense that the professor entered the dream. Master, let me ask the second question. A dream creator can transform into anyone, so after I enter the dream, should I first treat everyone as a suspect before eliminating them one by one? You can think of it that way. But there are so many people. It's not easy to eliminate them. How can I find 4 dream creators in such a short time? This was what Suyu was most worried about. It didn't matter if he sacrificed himself. What he was most afraid of was that even if he sacrificed himself, he wouldn't be able to save everyone. Wouldn't that be a wasted sacrifice? To be honest, there's no shortcut to this. You can only observe it yourself. How should I put it? No matter how powerful a dream creator is, no matter how realistic his creation is, there will still be flaws. You have to observe carefully. Didn't you tell me about the roast duck before? Even in your dream, you could sense that something was wrong. There was something wrong with the smell of the roast duck, which made you lose interest. So, this is actually a method. You have to find out that this person is different from before in some small details. If there's something strange about him, then he must be a dream creator. Master Wu tried his best to explain in detail so that Suyu could understand instantly. Chapter 44-45. Oh my god, it seems like my chances of winning aren't high. This is really difficult. Suyu felt that it was the biggest problem for him to distinguish between the 4 dream creators. You can actually find help. As long as you can tell that it's your friend's real body that entered the dream and find your friend, you can ask your friend to help you find the dream creator. Yes, Master is right. I will definitely find Qin Chu and Huamin first. However, if my friend is imprisoned somewhere, how am I going to get there? Is it as time-consuming as the real world? Suyu frowned slightly and pondered. That's not necessary. I can teach you a way to go wherever you want. Teleportation. Suyu thought of a heaven-defying skill in an online game that he had played before. Yes, you can do whatever you want. Huh, doesn't that mean I'm cheating? Suyu laughed. Don't be too smug, kid. No matter how powerful you are, that's still the territory of the dream creators. Once you enter, you'll attract their attention. Trust me, they'll definitely think of a way to kill you. Then, if I'm accidentally killed, will I be done for? Yes, you'll be dead. Fuck, no, I haven't saved my friend yet. I can't die. So, Suyu, you better remember what I'm going to say next. This is very important, very important. Master Wu grabbed Suyu's collar and walked to the balcony. Master, please tell me. I'll remember it. Suyu didn't dare to be careless. After all, this was a matter of life and death. Master Wu pointed at the mountains and rivers outside the window and asked Suyu, "Look, what are these? Mountains and rivers." Yes, you will see the exact same things in the dream. You will see everything in the real world. That's why I'm especially afraid that once you enter the dream, you won't remember that you're dreaming anymore. It's just like how people dream every night. When they dream of ghosts, they will be afraid. When they dream of being bitten by a dog, they will feel pain. It's precisely because no one knows that they're dreaming that they'll know that they were dreaming last night. That's true. Master, continue. Suyu nodded and looked at Master Wu with admiration. In your dream, you are weak. Dream creators are extremely powerful. They can even deliberately create ferocious beasts, venomous snakes, or high-tech robots that you have never seen before to attack you. As long as you keep telling yourself that you are dreaming, those things will naturally not hurt you. Fuck, they're so powerful. Then I don't have to be afraid of them, ha ha ha. Suyu discovered this bug. Don't celebrate too early. Let me finish. Master, please continue. A person's consciousness is actually very weak. Many people can't remember that they are dreaming at critical moments. If you accept everything that the dream creator imposes on you, you will lose. For example, if the dream creator creates a killer to kill you and stabs the dagger into your body, you will feel pain. Then, you will see your body bleeding and you will feel that your blood will run dry. Then you will really be finished, understand? Yes, I just have to tell myself that I'm dreaming. Even if they shoot me, I won't feel pain and I won't believe them. Then, I'll be fine. Yes, you have to stay awake at all times. Don't believe everything that happens in your dreams, especially when the dream creator is hunting you down. Master Wu patted Suyu's shoulder. Master, how do I kill the dream creator? Will my friends return naturally after I kill the 4 dream creators? Suyu asked expectantly. Chapter 44-46. You killing the dream creators is the same as them killing you. It's just like in the real world. The harm they do to you is real, and the harm you do to them is also. Suyu was in a good mood when he heard this. Master, are you saying that I just need to do it normally? Yes, it's not difficult to kill dream creators, because as long as you stay awake at all times and know that you're dreaming, no matter how they create illusions, it's useless to you. The problem now is how to find the dream creators. If you kill the wrong person, it doesn't matter if it's a fictional person, but if it's a real person who entered the dream, it's equivalent to killing the innocent. What's even crueler is that in order to not expose their identity, the dream creators might pretend to be your friends. If you can't tell the difference and kill your friends, I'm afraid you'll feel worse than anyone else. Master Wu didn't want to say this before because he was afraid that Suyu would feel bad. Sure enough, after he finished speaking, Suyu withered. Suyu suddenly realized the seriousness of this problem. To put it bluntly, what if the dream creators created Tang Chuan, Wei Liao, Gao Ran, Lingling, and the others? How was he going to do it? What if he killed the wrong person and really killed his friends? Wouldn't that be a heinous crime? Hey, that's not right. Master, it doesn't make sense. Suyu's brain reacted quickly and was in a state of high speed. He suddenly felt that something was not quite right. What doesn't make sense? The dream creators definitely can't become Mian and Chin Chu, because they're the main characters of the dream. Aren't those artificial dreams meant for the real person to enter the dream? So, the important characters can't be fake, right? You're really smart, kid. I take back the nickname I gave you, Little Donkey. At this moment, Master Wu revealed his admiration for Suyu. This kid was indeed outstanding. So what I'm saying is, we've already eliminated a lot of possibilities. Then, if it's really as you said, he's pretending to be my friend. If it's Old Wei and he's pretending to be Old Wei, then where's the real Old Wei? Old Wei entered the dream. Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei didn't pick up the phone. Suyu knew that the couple must have been tricked as well. If the main body entered the dream, how could the dream creator pretend? Wouldn't there be two Wei Liao in the dream? Master Wu chuckled. Your theory is right, but have you thought about it? Your friend might have been lured into the dream by the dream creator and locked up somewhere. She never showed her face and met you. What if the person you met was always the dream creator? After hearing this, Suyu was enlightened. Then, he felt a chill run down his spine. That was indeed a terrifying method. Alright, I understand. Master, you just need to send me back and leave the rest to me. Suyu looked at the sky outside. The sun was about to set and he really didn't have much time left. Kid, it's not too late if you go back on your word now. You're not Lei Feng, you don't have to sacrifice yourself for the country and the people. Isn't there an old saying among the people? Every man for himself. Are you really not going to think for yourself? You're not married yet, and you're the only grandson in the Su family. You didn't even leave a descendant for the family. Master Wu seemed to have a deep understanding of the Su family situation. His words seemed to be advising Suyu to think it through. Once he entered the dream, there was no turning back. Chapter 44-47. Master, I've thought about it. You know my temper. Even 10 cows won't be able to pull me away. I think it's about time. Let's begin. Suyu was so happy that he was going to die. At this point, he couldn't care less about being afraid or the consequences. He knew that he was the only chance to save everyone. He couldn't let them all die in their dreams, right? If that was the case, Suyu would rather be dead than dead. Seeing that Master Wu didn't say anything, Suyu reached out and placed his hand on Master Wu's shoulder. Master, my life in exchange for so many lives of everyone. I even killed 4 dream creators. I've profited, Silly boy, what a silly boy. Master Wu sighed slightly and turned to leave. Suyu followed behind him. Master Wu handed over a white bead the size of a thumbnail. Take this. It's called the will bead. It can condense your will. When you're in your dream, as long as you close your eyes and think about where you want to go, the scene there, or a friend, you can go there immediately. You don't have to take a plane, which is so troublesome. Alright, thank you for giving me this divine artifact, Master. Am I completely cheating? Suyu smiled happily as he held the bead. I don't know if you're cheating or not, but I know you might die this time. Master, why are you saying such ominous things? What if your disciple comes back safely? I'll drink a pot of good wine with you. Okay, I'll wait for you. Master Wu looked at Suyu with a complicated expression. Then, he led him through the living room and finally to the basement of Su Yu's private villa. It was the secret room where Xingro was being held. Xingro's head was covered with a white cloth, which made her look very scary. He was afraid that she would play tricks. Master Wu took out a small blade and bled Xingro's finger. Then, he caught it in a white porcelain bowl. Then, he brought Su Yu back to Anne's bedroom. You lie beside him. Okay. Su Yu followed Master Wu's instructions and lay beside Anne. Then, Master Wu took out a blade and connected Anne's finger to Su Yu's finger. Then, he cut their corresponding thumbs, and their blood flowed out at the same time. At this time, Master Wu mixed Xingro's blood in. Close your eyes and count to 100. All right. Su Yu didn't dare to speak. After hearing Master Wu's words, he closed his eyes and started counting. 1, 2, 3. Master Wu held a handful of incense in his hand. After lighting it, he surrounded Su Yu and Anne with the incense and mumbled something. Stinking brat, remember, you're dreaming. Don't ever treat the things in front of you as real. This was the last thing Master Wu told Su Yu. At first, Su Yu could still hear Master Wu mumbling some unknown incantation. Later on, he felt that his surroundings were very clean, and he didn't seem to be in the Su family anymore. Boss, boss. Wake up, wake up. In a daze, Su Yu felt someone shaking his body. Then, he slowly opened his eyes and immediately felt a blinding light. He used his hand to cover his vision. Slowly, he got used to it. When he saw the person beside him, he knew that he was back, and, boss, you suddenly fainted. You scared me to death. I thought you were dead. And was scared out of his wits and his face was pale. This is... Su Yu opened his eyes and looked around the room. He realized that this was a white crystal room, so he was in an underwater palace. At this moment, in the main hall, a white crystal ball was trembling violently. Messiah's expression was grave. Master, Su Yu is back. What should we do? Hee, this kid must have come back to die. Go, kill him, Linya ordered mercilessly. Chapter 44-48. With Lin Ya's order, Messiah immediately stood up. With a serious expression, she led her men to the room where Su Yu had appeared. On the way, she bumped into Huamin, who was taking a walk with his belly puffed out. Messiah, where are you going? I'm dealing with a death row prisoner. Miss Mian, you should go back to your room. You're pregnant, so it's not appropriate for you to wander around. After Messiah finished speaking, she hurriedly led her men through the long corridor towards the end. Huamin felt that Messiah's expression was a little strange, but he couldn't follow her. After all, no matter where she went, there were people following her, and her movements were extremely restricted. Messiah only brought 6 people with her. She had thought that Su Yu was easy to deal with. After all, in this place, no one could use their abilities. However, this time, she had underestimated Su Yu's abilities, in the white crystal room. Su Yu gradually woke up and stood up. First, he touched the amulet around his neck. The white prayer beads his master had given him were also tied to the amulet. It was to remind himself that this was a dream, not reality. There was also the red peace rope his master had given him. The existence of these things made Su Yu realize that he had come from reality to a dream. Master Wu had really existed, and, are you okay? You look terrible. After Su Yu woke up, he touched Anne's forehead. I'm fine, boss. I just don't know what happened just now. I suddenly felt so uncomfortable that I wanted to die. I even vomited blood, before Su Yu could say anything, and continued, Boss, did you notice that ever since we came to the North Pole and were captured here, strange things have been happening. I was wondering where you were captured, but now you suddenly fell from the sky. I didn't even see how you got here. With a whoosh, you came back to me. Also, I suddenly vomited blood and almost died. It felt like someone was choking me. And naturally didn't know what was going on, but Suyu did. Just now, when Xiaoan vomited blood, it was probably because Suyu had dragged Xiaoan out of bed in the real world and almost killed him. Fortunately, he stopped in time. Otherwise, if he forcefully moved him, he would really die in the dream and in the real world. Suyu had also had many nightmares in his life. This included bumping into female ghosts, being chased by people, and all kinds of strange things. But this time, it was the scariest nightmare. What's scary is not what you see and what ghosts you see. What was even more frightening was that this nightmare made one unable to differentiate between reality and dream. Everyone was lost here. Even the extremely intelligent Qin Chu and Huamin were not spared. "Boss, what's wrong with you? Say something." Seeing that the boss was lost in thought, and reached out his hand and waved his finger in front of him. Suyu came back to his senses. "Xiaoan, have you been locked up here ever since you came in?" Suyu asked. He wanted to ask if he could get more clues. "No, I almost died. Let me tell you. Fortunately, the professor saved me, Professor." Suyu frowned slightly. "Yeah, he said he's Goddess Lu Yan's biological father. And didn't know much. Where is he?" "He left. He seems to be respected here. Unlike us, we are prisoners, but he's not. Those strange people wanted to kill me, but the professor saved me. I've been here guarding Goddess Lu Yan. Lu Yan is here." Suyu finally realized the key. Chapter 44-49. Seeing Suyu's surprise, and nodded. "Yeah, I was also very surprised when I saw Goddess Lu Yan. But I'm already very satisfied to be able to see her. Besides, I don't know if she'll wake up. It feels weird." With that, and pulled Suyu's arm and came to the crystal coffin. Suyu looked at the exquisite woman inside through the crystal coffin. It was indeed Lu Yan. But at this moment, she was so quiet. Was she dead, or she? Before Suyu could finish, and knew what he was going to ask. As expected of a master and servant for so many years. "Boss, don't worry. Boss, don't think too much. Goddess Lu Yan isn't dead. She's just in a coma." The professor didn't say much, and it's not convenient for me to ask. Now that we're all captured, I think there must be a conspiracy. I just hope that Goddess Lu Yan will be fine and wake up safely. If she wakes up, we'll be saved. I'm afraid her personality will turn this underwater palace upside down. And admired Lu Yan, as if there was nothing Lu Yan couldn't do. Therefore, and hoped that Lu Yan would wake up. Then, he would have another helper. However, what he didn't know was that even the professor couldn't save him, let alone Lu Yan. The only person who could save him was his boss, Suyu. "Masterin, if we can get out safely, do you have any wishes?" Suyu patted En's shoulder. He was sure that En wasn't a dream creator. This was because En had been with him almost all the time. There was nothing different about him. And in the real world, En had also entered the dream, so this En was definitely the real deal. Suyu used the elimination method to eliminate the remaining suspects one by one. Then, he filtered out the ones he suspected and killed them. "After we get out, I want to eat hot pot," En said. "Fuck, you're so useless. I thought you would say that you wanted to start a family and get married." En quickly shook his head. "No, my boss isn't married, and neither am I. I want to be single with you for the rest of my life. Don't talk nonsense. How can you compare to me? I can find one at any time. I have money and looks. Even if I'm 60 years old, I have plenty of women. But you can't. You're already old. If you wait a few more years, you'll go bald and your kidneys won't work. How are you going to carry on the family line then? After saying that, Suyu couldn't help but hug Xiao An's neck and laugh. Xiao An had already given Suyu a good beating in his heart, but he could only think about it. After all, he was her boss. How could he really do it? His boss had been overbearing for many years. It was normal for him to offend the tiger occasionally. He would not lower himself to his level. Masterin, if you return safely, live a good life. Remember, get married and have children. Live an ordinary life. Being ordinary is a blessing. What do you mean I'll return safely? Aren't we together? And was not stupid. He could tell that something was wrong with Suyu's tone. Suyu was just about to answer when he heard noisy footsteps outside the door. Then, both of them became alert. Someone's here. They're not friendly, and said in a low voice. Masterin, if there's a conflict later, promise me one thing. Boss, what is it? Hide behind the crystal coffin. I'll deal with them. Fuck, how can I do that? I'm your bodyguard. And couldn't accept Suyu's order. This is an order. If you dare to disobey, I'll fire you right now. Suyu looked angry. Boss, are you serious? And gritted his teeth, looking conflicted. Get to the back. I promise I'll be fine. Suyu ordered him to move back again because An didn't know that he was dreaming. In such a short time, Suyu didn't have time to explain, so he decided to let An retreat first and deal with these flies himself. Chapter 4450. An also knew that his boss would never do something he wasn't confident in. Since he had said so, he must be prepared. After some hesitation, An quickly ran behind Lu Yan's crystal coffin and hid. Then, she heard the door being opened with a bang. Two monsters that looked like walking corpses rushed in. The reason why they were called monsters was because these things that looked like humans were almost all expressionless. It was impossible to tell if they were male or female because they were all bald and looked similar. When Huomin first arrived, he also found it terrifying. Later on, he thought that they were biochemical soldiers cloned by Linya, so he was used to it. Messiah was in the middle of this group of monsters. Go, kill him, Messiah said. Then, 6 biochemical soldiers rushed up and headed straight for Suyu. They were all holding extremely sharp military daggers. The first one to rush up held a dagger and stabbed it at Suyu's head. This was the rhythm of wanting his life. Suyu suddenly remembered what his master had told him. His return to the dream world would definitely attract the attention of the other 4 dream creators. They would think of ways to kill Suyu. Firstly, they didn't want him to cause trouble here and disrupt their plans. Secondly, Suyu knew too much and knew about reality in dreams. If he leaked it to others, it wouldn't be easy to proceed. That was why Master Wu said that as long as Suyu returned, he would definitely be hunted down by the 4 dream creators. As expected. However, because Master Wu had told him in advance, Suyu was already mentally prepared. When he fought with the biochemical soldiers, he used the moves he used when he was a Special Forces soldier. Although he didn't have any weapons, it was still easy for him to deal with these shrimp soldiers and crab generals. And also knew that once his boss got angry, he wasn't someone to be trifled with. Seeing the 6 biochemical soldiers being taken care of by Suyu one by one, Messiah's eyes gradually dimmed. Come on, I'll play with you. Old monster. Although Su-yu didn't know Messiah's identity, he could tell from her clothes that she wasn't a soldier. Facing this old woman, Su-yu only had two guesses. She was either a dream creator or a figment of a dream creator. Messiah took off her white cloak, she threw it on the ground. You took off your clothes just because you can't beat me. Shameless. Su-yu's words almost made him laugh out loud. He was wondering if his boss had to be so funny at such a critical moment. Are you courting death? Su-yu's words obviously infuriated Messiah. After taking off her cloak, she took out a long whip. It was still the color of a snow-white crystal, and the material of a long whip. Every section was covered with spikes made of crystals. They looked very hard. If they were to be whipped on the body, the skin would probably split open. Boss, Messiah T far behind him. Su-yu didn't say anything. He just looked at Messiah calmly. Suddenly, before he could see how she moved, she appeared behind Su-yu in an instant. Then, the crystal whip coiled around Su-yu's neck viciously. How was this human speed? In the blink of an eye, she appeared behind Su-yu, catching him off guard. Su-yu suddenly thought of Layla, that monster. Chin-chu had shown him the video before. Layla's speed was heaven-defying. So this woman was also, boss. And was so scared that his heart was in his throat. Because those white crystal thorns were about to pierce Su-yu's throat. Chapter 44-51. To be honest, being attacked in a dream was the same as being attacked in reality. The pain was also obvious, which was why people couldn't tell the difference. Master Wu was afraid that Su-yu would forget his original intention and get lost in the dream. That was why she kept reminding Su-yu that it was just a dream, just a dream. Su-yu had always remembered it, so when the crystal thorns were about to pierce his throat, Su-yu closed his eyes quietly. Then, he told himself that this was just a dream. At this moment, a miracle happened. Messiah wanted to finish off Su-yu in a minute, but she realized that the thorns on the whip couldn't pierce through it all. Impossible. Messiah clearly didn't believe that anyone could resist her powerful whip. And was also dumbfounded. Was his boss wearing a super nano-transparent bulletproof vest? While Messiah was still in a daze, Su-yu grabbed her ribs with a backhand grip. Then, there was a crack. In the quiet room, one could even hear the sound of bones breaking. Then, Messiah screamed, and the whip in her hand fell to the ground. It shattered into pieces. She retreated 3 meters back and leaned against Lu Yan's crystal coffin. At this moment, Su-yu struck while the iron was hot. He took a step forward and kicked Messiah to the ground. Then, he punched her temple. Every punch was full of strength, and it was fatal. Whether she was a fictional character or a dream creator, Su-yu didn't want to leave her alive. In a dream, there was no need for so much mercy and kindness. He just wanted to save his friends. After all, he only had one chance. And had never seen Su-yu so crazy before. He was really scared. After fighting for 3 to 4 minutes, Messiah was completely motionless. And went out and stopped Su-yu. Boss, that's enough. That's enough. She's dead, and said. Only then did Su-yu stop and gasp for breath. Just now, he was on the brink of death. Fortunately, he arrived in time. Su-yu was not afraid of his own death. He was afraid that after he died, no one would be able to save his friends. That was why he was so nervous. Boss, are you all right? Shaoan patted Su-yu's back gently. I'm fine. Su-yu shook his head. Wow, you were amazing just now. That woman was so powerful, but she didn't even hurt you. Are you wearing some kind of protective film around your neck? After saying that, and touched Su-yu's neck, unwilling to give up. That was bare skin, nothing at all. It can't be. If there's nothing, then just now you, and carry Lu Yen on your back. We have to go. We can't stay here and wait for death. Su Yu stood up. Where are we going? Boss. Let's go find Mian. Su Yu knew that Mian was also imprisoned here, so he would definitely see her soon. And listened to Su Yu's instructions and opened the crystal coffin. He carried the unconscious Lu Yen out of the room. Then, he carried her on his back. Su Yu knew that if he killed this person, his master would not stop. These were just small scenes. The truly powerful ones had yet to appear. Just as they were about to walk out, Shaoan suddenly shouted. Boss, look! Su Yu turned around and saw the corpse of the woman who had just died slowly withering. Then, in a few seconds, it turned into a pool of water. It was dark green and extremely disgusting. Fuck, what the hell is this? And was scared out of his wits. Chapter 44-52. Su Yu was disgusted. He took a look and recalled what Master Wu had said to him in private. A person created by a dream creator would have green blood after death. After a normal person entered a dream and was killed, they would be in a normal corpse state. After a dream creator died, they would turn into red blood. So, this Messiah wasn't a dream creator. At the thought of this, Su Yu was quite depressed. It wasn't easy for him to kill one, but she was just a figment of his imagination. Su Yu felt like he had worked for nothing. Then, Su Yu took advantage of the situation and walked out. And followed closely behind with Lu Yen on his back. Boss, what's going on? What are these things? Did we come to a monster's lair? The more Shaoan thought about it, the more he felt that there was something wrong with this place. Hence, his imagination started to run wild. There's no monster. Don't let your imagination run wild. I'll tell you the details later. Follow me first. Remember, be careful. After Su Yu walked out they passed through all the obstacles. Su Yu didn't know where he got his strength from, but he killed these biochemical soldiers with one punch. It was comparable to fighting monsters in games. And was dazed. Linya naturally felt Messiah's death. Linya, who was standing in the hall, knew that Messiah had been killed by Su Yu. Her eyes glowed red. This Su Yu is pretty capable. Seems like he's been taught a lesson after escaping from here. Linya knew that Su Yu wasn't lucky to be able to enter the dream a second time unscathed after escaping by accident. He must have received guidance from someone. Squad 7, listen up. Stop Su Yu and his men and kill them all, Linya ordered the biochemical soldiers on the computer page. Miss Lu Yen is inside too. Should we kill her too? The leader of the biochemical soldiers asked. Obviously, the person who received the order was still worried. He was afraid that he would kill the wrong person and anger Linya. Unexpectedly, Linya didn't even think about it before saying, kill without mercy. As soon as Linya finished speaking, the door to the hall was pushed open. You're crazy. You even want to kill Xiaoyan. The professor was about to talk to Linya outside the door when he heard her order. He was furious. Lu Yen isn't my daughter to begin with. Didn't Mian tell you? Lu Yen was born from you and that clone Linya, so half of her genes are cloned, old Lu. Linya smiled devilishly. Professor Lu looked at her expression and slightly frowned. Ha ha ha, you look like you don't know anything. I guess your daughter didn't tell you the truth. Old Lu, we gave birth to Mian. After I left, the one who stayed by your side was a clone that I created. She looked exactly like me. She stayed by your side to confuse and deceive you. I can't believe you couldn't even tell that she was a clone. You even had a child with her. I'm so sad. Also, you treated that woman's body like a treasure and kept it in a cave in Iceland. How much do you love that monster? Linya kept calling him a monster, as if she was trying to agitate Professor Liu. She made him lose his mind. But the professor didn't fall for it. He calmly glanced at Linya's ferocious face. You're the monster, right? You just want the red demon. You destroyed our home and destroyed the best image of a mother in Yen and Mion's hearts. Linya, you're the most terrifying monster. So what? Linya raised her chin provocatively. Who are you working for? Professor Liu's eyes were sharp. Chapter 44-53. I want the red demon, Linya insisted. Don't lie to me. I've been with you for many years. Do you think I don't know what you're thinking? It can't be what you want. Even if you have such big ambitions, a woman is weak. You won't be able to use the red demon to its fullest potential. Tell me, is it the E or the M? Which country did you collude with? The local government or the rebels? It had to be said that the professor was smart to be able to remain so clear-headed at a time like this. Old Liu, you're thinking too much. I didn't. Linya refused to admit it. It's fine if you don't admit it. I don't want to ask. Now that things have come to this, we can't continue acting. But I'm warning you, Linya, if you dare to hurt my daughter. I guarantee that you won't be able to get the red demon. No one will be able to get it. If I die, no one in this world will know where the red demon is. Even if you get the Heraor, it's useless, as expected of the professor. Even when he was angry, he didn't curse. However, the expression on his face was extremely dignified. Linya knew that this old man wasn't bluffing. The whole world knew how much he loved his daughter. Linya smiled slightly when she heard this. You still want to threaten me? Are you stupid? This is my territory. Old Liu. I should be the one warning you. If you don't take out the red demon, Liu Yan will die, Huamin will die, and all the children in Huamin's stomach will die. And this series of tragedies will all happen because of you. Linya's words put the professor in a dilemma. She thought that the old man's expression would change drastically after hearing this. After all, he loved his daughter as much as his life. Unfortunately, Professor Liu's expression remained the same as before. If you want to kill me, then kill me. It's good that we die together. Then, no one in this world will know the whereabouts of the red demon. And the three of us can reunite in the netherworld. From his words, it was obvious that the professor wasn't afraid of death. He wasn't even afraid that Liu Yan and Huamin would die. He was just afraid that Linya would play some dirty tricks. Of course, it was just like what the professor had said to Mion. She couldn't believe anything Linya said. You're very stubborn, Linya confronted the professor. And Qin Chu was on his way to the North Pole. However, Siyu was ordered to be killed by Linya, and he had to face thousands of troops. When Shaoan and Suyu passed through the corridor, they somehow ended up in an open space. It was like a very large room. There was nothing inside, only white crystals. It was very quiet inside, and even the sound of breathing could be heard. What's going on? It wasn't like this just now. Shaoan was confused again. Why did he feel that his surroundings were constantly changing? Don't panic. I'm here. Suyu looked around vigilantly. At this moment, the white crystal in front of them crumbled into pieces. That voice was very piercing. What was even more frightening was that after the white crystal shattered, what was behind it? It was a dense swarm of biochemical soldiers. these bio-soldiers were different from the ones Suyu had killed. Their faces were still wrapped in white cloth, which made them look like Egyptian mummies. The most terrifying thing was that there were so many of them. At a glance, there were countless of them. Fuck. Where did so many of them come from? We're going to be crippled. Shaoan was so scared that he quickly put Lu Yan on the ground and stood back to back with Suyu. This was because they were surrounded by these unknown things that were eyeing them covetously. Suyu took a few steps back and leaned close to Anne's ear. And, it's very important to remember something. This isn't real. It's just a dream. When we fight later, don't take it seriously. Chapter 44-54. Shaoan was still in a daze and hadn't reacted yet. Suyu had already rushed forward. With the experience of killing Messiah the first time, Suyu was no longer afraid of these monsters. It was as easy as pie. Just like the special effects in wuxia movies, he killed one with a single palm strike. Even An was dumbfounded by what he saw. Although An didn't know what was going on, he saw that his boss had already rushed forward. He also rushed forward with all his might. At first, it wasn't bad. It was more than enough to deal with the biochemical soldiers. However, there were too many of them. After 10 minutes, Anne's stamina was running out. Therefore, he asked Suyu anxiously, "Boss, there are more and more of them. It's like we can't kill them all. We can't go on like this, I know. Come, pick up Lu Yan and hold my hand." Suyu killed the one in front of him with one palm strike. Then, he ran to An and stretched out his hands. And held them with a dumbfounded expression, and, "Close your eyes and think with me. We're going to me on side now, Dr. Hua, cut the crap. Close your eyes and think with me." And didn't know what was so good about imagining things, but since his boss said so, he would do as he was told. Otherwise, if he continued to kill these things here, even if he wasn't killed by them, he would die of exhaustion sooner or later. Therefore, An picked up Lu Yan with one hand and held Suyu's hands with the other. Their thoughts became stronger and they began to imagine going to Huamin's side. Thousands of biochemical soldiers suddenly rushed over. Just as they were about to touch Suyu and An, the master and servant suddenly disappeared into thin air with the unconscious Lu Yan. All the biochemical soldiers were confused. They looked at each other, not knowing what was going on. The leader of the biochemical soldiers picked up his earpiece and reported to Linya. Master, the target disappeared into thin air. We don't know where he went." Impossible. Linya's emotions fluctuated when she heard that Suyu had disappeared into thin air. This was a dream that she had created. Only she and the other 3 dream creators could do whatever they wanted. On the other hand, Suyu was a real person, a muggle who entered the dream. How could he disappear into thin air? Therefore, when Linya heard all this, she found it hard to believe. The footsteps that were approaching the professor also stopped. Huamin was in a bad mood in his room. She sat in front of the table and looked at the delicious food, but she didn't touch it. He felt as if something was bothering him. At this moment, 3 people suddenly appeared in the room out of thin air, causing her to be so shocked that her mouth could not close. It was true that Suyu did not have any special abilities, but he could travel back and forth in his dreams and go where he wanted to go. This was all thanks to Master Wu's mental bead. Master Wu had given it to him in the real world. It would be more convenient for him to save it for escape or to find his friends. Unexpectedly, Suyu was quick-witted and applied what he had learned. Moreover, he was very good at it. Shaoan was also stunned by his boss's powerful teleportation technique. And, Suyu. Yan, Huamin stood up with a whoosh. When he saw the 3 familiar faces, he was so excited that he didn't know what to say. Mian, we're here to save you. Come with us. Suyu panted as he walked forward and grabbed Huamin's arm. Wait a minute. How do I know that you guys aren't cloned by Linya? Suyu didn't expect Huamin to not believe them. Chapter 44-55. Mian, at a time like this, you're still suspecting us. Suyu looked helpless and aggrieved. It's not that I'm suspecting you, but this place is too strange. Linya can even create Huasiqian, let alone you. I'm afraid that she'll do anything to achieve her goal, so don't blame me. Dr. Hua, we're real people, not clones. Look, we even saved Goddess Lu Yen. And tried his best to explain to Huamin. Then, he showed him the unconscious Lu Yen. Where did you find Yen? Huamin walked over with his big belly, knelt down beside Lu Yen, and touched her. Lu Yen wasn't dead, but she was temporarily unconscious. Huamin checked her pulse again, just like before. First, she had taken some kind of drug and was unconscious due to poisoning. It seemed that Yen was real. However, she still didn't dare to believe Suyu and so easily. It was in a room on the other side of the corridor. Goddess Lu Yen was in the coffin. After I was captured, I stayed with her in the coffin. President Su came to save us. We just encountered many biochemical soldiers. Those monsters were so scary. And was still in shock when he thought of the scene just now. Mian, how can you believe that we're not clones? Suyu asked her. Huamin didn't say anything, as if he was thinking about how to prove their identities. Then let me tell you something that happened between us. When I was first captured, I brought you to see me. I even ate roast duck with you, remember? Suyu tried to use his previous memories to make Huamin believe him. But, Huamin said calmly, clones can share memories. I heard that Layla has all my memories, including what happened when I was young. She can remember everything clearly. What should we do? We're in an emergency. We can't stay here anymore. This is an illusion. I think once this place disintegrates, we'll all die here if we go out. What illusion? What disintegration? Huamin seemed to think that Suyu's words were extremely unreliable and confused. Mian, no matter how similar a clone is, it's not the original one. Layla is so similar to you and can even share your memories, but Qin Chu still saw through it. He's never touched her, let alone slept with her. Although I don't know you that, I can tell her abnormality, her gaze, her smell, and even, some of her micro-expressions are different. I believe that you can tell if An and I are clones or not. Huamin looked at them but still didn't say anything. En and Suyu were anxious. Dr. Hua, we're really not clones. We're really, and stomped his feet anxiously, but he didn't know how to explain it to Huamin. At this moment, Suyu said, you're in a dangerous situation now. I heard from him that the professor is here too. I know that supporting characters like In and I are definitely not the target of these people. They must be here to capture you, the professor, and Lu Yen. So, whether you believe us or not, you can't leave this place. Why don't you take a gamble and follow us? I'll take you out. How about that? You can get out. Hearing that Suyu could get out of the underwater palace, Huamin felt a glimmer of hope. She had been locked up here for the past few days and was about to go crazy. Even in her dreams, she wanted to leave this damn place. Chapter 44-56. Normally, Suyu wouldn't dare to brag about this. After all, his ability was limited. But now, he knew that he was in a dream, and he had the thought bead from Master Wu. Just now, he successfully teleported in and Lu Yan with him, so he felt great. Of course, as long as you trust me, I can take you out of here now. So you wanted to leave with Huamin, and the others. Otherwise, who knew what that old monster, Linya, would do? However, after hearing Su Yu's promise, Huamin hesitated again. Mian, I've already said it so bluntly, but you still don't believe me. Even if I can save you, you still don't believe me. Su Yu was a little hurt. He thought that Huamin was hesitating because he didn't trust him. And he couldn't immediately prove to Huamin that he was the real Su Yu and not a clone. After a few seconds of silence, Huamin slowly walked towards Su Yu. Then, he looked up into his eyes. The two of them stared at each other for a full 10 seconds. Huamin smiled. Just by looking at your eyes, I can tell if you're the real Su Yu, so I definitely won't doubt you. But, I can't leave just like that. Mian, it's never too late to take revenge. Let's retreat first and think of a way to deal with this old monster later, okay? Su Yu thought that Huamin wanted to fight it out with Linya. Unexpectedly, Huamin shook his head. No, I'm worried about my dad. Are you talking about the professor? Qin Chu had vaguely mentioned Huamin's background. He knew that she wasn't Hua Zhenghai and Yang Meirong's daughter. Yeah, Linya captured my dad and locked him up here. He's the person Linya wants the most. Mian, what if that father of yours is also a clone? Su Yu was giving him a taste of his own medicine. Just now, Huamin suspected him, and now he was suspecting her father. However, it wasn't that Su Yu was holding a grudge. It was just that in this place, anything could happen. The dream couldn't be explained in a few sentences, so Su Yu used the word clone. Actually, he was afraid that this professor might be created by a dream creator. Wouldn't that be troublesome? No, I've seen Dad a few times. He's real, not a clone. Besides, what Linya wants the most is the thing in my dad's hands. She wouldn't be stupid enough to create a fake to get something out of him. A fake wouldn't know where that thing is. So, everyone here might be fake, except for my dad, because he's the key person. Although Huamin was pregnant, in the dream, she was in a dream, and had been under house arrest for many days. Her logical thinking was still very strong. Looking at her powerful aura, Su Yu felt a sense of familiarity that he hadn't felt in a long time. In fact, after entering the dream for the second time, he felt strangely touched when he saw Huamin. Mian, you're right. According to your analysis, the professor can't be fake. However, I don't know the professor, so I can't use my mind to bring you to his side. So, let him stay behind to protect you. I'll go out and see if I can bring the professor here. As soon as Su Yu finished speaking, Huamin shook her head. No, I can't let you go alone. Linya's methods are very perverted. You'll be in danger. It's okay, I'm not afraid. I have magic treasures. Su Yu looked at Huamin with a smile. There was a doting look in his eyes, just like in the past. All these years, Su Yu only looked at Huamin with such affection. Chapter 44-57. I don't believe you either. You can either take us with you or stay here with us. In any case, we won't let you take the risk alone. Huamin's attitude was firm. He didn't want anything to happen to Su Yu again. Thinking back to what happened in Yunnan, he still had lingering fears. However, what Huamin didn't know was that Su Yu had returned to his dream. He was already putting himself in danger, and he would pay a heavy price. All right. Dr. Hua, you win. You're the biggest in the world. Su Yu looked helpless, but his tone was full of affection. He didn't want to have a head-on conflict with Huamin, so Su-yu decided to bring Hua-min along to search for the professor in this mysterious underwater palace. Dr. Hua, you're so pregnant. It's not good for you to bump around. Why don't you let my boss carry you? And interjected nosily from the side. I'm fine with it. Ask your boss if he can carry me. I should weigh more than 140 pounds now. Hua-min gloated over her misfortune. Forget it, forget it. You should walk by yourself. I'm afraid my waist will be crippled. On the surface, Su-yu rejected him, but what he was thinking was, even if you weigh 240 pounds, as long as you let me carry you, as long as you ask, I'm willing to give you everything. However, Su-yu wouldn't say such emotional words. In the past few years, in order not to make things difficult for Hua-min, Su-yu had never said anything overboard, emotional, or mushy. And all of this was because of his deep love for Hua-min. At this moment, inside Su-yu's mansion, Master Wu sat cross-legged on a white round cushion. On the bed were Su-yu and both master and servant, who were fast asleep. Master Wu had already done what he was supposed to do and could have left. However, he was still worried even though he knew that Su-yu would never come back this time. She still wanted to stay here and guard him. Firstly, he wanted to see if An would wake up and if Su-yu could successfully save An. Secondly, he was afraid that someone would barge in and unknowingly move Su-yu's body. If that happened, all his previous efforts would be wasted. Lady Su came at 9:00 in the evening. He kept a low profile and only brought a bodyguard and a chauffeur. It was late winter. Lady Su was wearing a long black down jacket and carrying a purple bag from a famous brand. She looked elegant and calm. When Su-yu hurriedly brought the twins to her, she felt a little uneasy. She asked her son, but her son refused to say anything. The twins were tired from playing and fell asleep at around 8:00. So Lady Su changed her clothes and went out. She called Su-yu first, but Su-yu didn't answer. Later on, she asked about his whereabouts, and his subordinate said that Su-yu had been in the villa the whole time. Such an abnormality made her very uneasy as a mother. Lady Su had the key to the villa, so she opened the door and entered. The villa was pitch black, and it didn't look like Su-yu was at home. Lady Su entered the living room and turned on the lights. She was shocked to see a figure standing at the stairs. Who are you? Hello, Lady Su. I'm Su-yu's master. Master Wu was very calm. Why didn't I know my son had a master? Where did this swindler come from? Lady Su's words were sharp. However, when she saw the jade pendant on Master Wu's body that was similar to that of Nun Ci, she was shocked. Then, Master Wu briefly told Lady Su about the incubus, but he ignored the price Su had to pay for entering the dream a second time. At this moment, in the underwater palace, Su-yu, Hua-min, and the others were about to go out to look for the professor, but when they opened the door, they saw an unexpected person. Especially Hua-min. When she saw the familiar figure standing at the door, she burst into tears. Chapter 44-58. President Qin, Su-yu and Hua-min didn't say anything. It was An who spoke first. Perhaps they didn't expect to see Qin Chu at such a critical moment. We were just about to look for you, and you came. What a tacit understanding. Su-yu smiled slightly. Looking at this king-like man, he felt a little bitter. It was just like every time he and Hua-min had a little time alone, Qin Chu would appear. Hua-min only had eyes for him. It would be a lie to say that he didn't feel bad. After all, Su-yu was a human, not a god. His heart was soft. Yes, I hired an expert. He gave me a way to find Mian. At this moment, Qin Chu was still grateful to that granny for the Miaojiang witchcraft and the concentric knot. He felt that otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to find Huamin so easily. After saying a few words, Su Yu and unconsciously made way. Qin Chu stood at the door, wearing a thin black cotton jacket. His face was a little haggard, and he didn't even have time to shave. He looked at Huamin with a weary gaze, his heart filled with mixed feelings. Huamin looked into Qin Chu's eyes, and the two of them looked at each other for a full 30 seconds. The air seemed to have quietened down at that moment. Then, as soon as Huamian opened her mouth, her tears fell. She smiled and said, "I knew you would come to pick me up." After Huamin said this, Qin Chu's eyes were also wet with tears. He strode over. He hugged Huamin tightly in his arms. He didn't want to let go. Such a long-awaited reunion was always heart-wrenching. Qin Chu and Huamin didn't know that they were in a dream, so they hadn't seen each other for more than a month since they entered the dream in Yunnan. Qin Chu and Huamian loved each other so much. This month felt even longer than a year. Looking at the two of them hugging each other tightly, Siyu felt both gratified and sad. She was glad that she finally saw Qin Chu. After all, he was the person she had always wanted to see. What made him feel bad was that he could always see such a heart-wrenching scene. Anne's eyes turned red as he watched. Originally, I didn't believe in love anymore after I was cheated by that woman. But, President Qin and Dr. Hua, the two of you are constantly showing off your love for each other, so I have no choice but to believe in love again. This is great. This is the most beautiful thing in the world. Shaoan was a boorish person and never knew how to say anything nice. However, after he said this, Siyu resonated with him. After hearing Anne's praise, Huamin and Qin Chu looked at each other and smiled. "I'm sorry, Mian. I'm a little late. I've frightened you." Qin Chu reached out his warm hand and stroked Huamin's head. Then, he patted and comforted her as if he was coaxing a child. "You're not late, you're just in time." Huamin used the 30 seconds he spent looking into Qin Chu's eyes to determine if Qin Chu was the real deal or a clone. After all, anything was possible in this magical place. The clone could imitate everything exactly the same as the original, but there was one thing that it couldn't deceive. His eyes, especially his eyes that were filled with love. Therefore, in Qin Chu's eyes, Huamin saw the love that had accumulated over so many years. The moment she saw Qin Chu, she suddenly felt that all the pain and suffering she had suffered before was worth it. "Qin Chu, since you're here, I have a crazy idea." After seeing Qin Chu and Huamin being intimate, Siyu suddenly had a suggestion. Qin Chu and Huamin both turned their heads and looked at Suyu. What idea? Qin Chu knew that Suyu was as smart as him and Mian. Chapter 44-59. Suyu licked his lips and continued, "Since we have a lot of people now, why don't we take the opportunity to destroy this nest?" "Are you crazy, Suyu? Do you know how many biochemical soldiers there are here?" Huamin said. She had been imprisoned here for the longest time and had been to the most places. She had also seen the biochemical soldiers that Linya had cultivated. They were actually clones that hadn't been formed. Before Suyu could speak, Huamin added, "They have a lot of advanced weapons. I'm afraid we'll be slaughtered before we can do anything." "Dr. Hua, you might not believe it, but our boss, just, tortured and killed a very powerful woman," and interrupted. Shaoan interrupted. Actually, he was a little selfish. He wanted to show off how powerful his boss was. Huamin looked at Suyu in confusion. He didn't know who An was talking about. "When I was first captured, I was eating roast duck with you. Then, do you remember the maid who was busy working beside you?" If I remember correctly, her name should be Messiah. Suyu had a good memory. He tried hard to recall the first time he met Huamin in the dream. It was indeed Messiah who had arranged everything. Linya had never appeared in front of Suyu. Oh my God, you killed Messiah. Huamin was in disbelief. Messiah was obviously Linya's confidant, not a small fry. But Suyu had killed her. How did he do it? Not only that, our boss also killed many biochemical soldiers with his bare hands. It was a spectacular scene. And continued to praise proudly. Suyu, did you bring weapons in? Qin Chu looked at Suyu's face and asked calmly. Suyu shook his head. No weapons. Then how did you do it? Huamin was still in disbelief. Suyu looked at Qin Chu and Huamin. Then, he explained seriously, what I'm about to say might be a little too much information, but I know that with your brains, you'll definitely understand. So, listen carefully. This is very important. It's about our lives and deaths, and it's about everyone's lives. Suyu used about 5 minutes to briefly explain the matter. And had already heard the explanation of the dream once, so he wasn't so surprised this time. Qin Chu and Huamin were indeed shocked. They never would have thought that their experiences in the past month, including the part in Yunnan, the part in the hospital, and the part with Layla, it was all a dream. Furthermore, they were still in a dream. Suyu, if it's really a dream, then we should have woken up when we realized that we were dreaming, just like when you escaped from the dream for the first time. Huamin's brain circuit was indeed very strange, and his reaction was very fast. Suyu had asked Master Wu the same question. Therefore, he had to use Master Wu's original words to explain, I was able to escape because I realized that I was dreaming, and also because of the amulet and the Great Compassion mantra. Then we can also chant the Great Compassion mantra. Don't you still have the amulet with you? Huamin looked at the little thing around Suyu's neck. Suyu shook his head. It's not that simple. My master said that I was able to escape because I'm not the main character here, so the dream creator didn't put much effort into me. But you're different. You're the key person. If you don't kill the dream creator, you won't be able to get out. No one will be able to get out. Then do you know how many dream creators are here now? Qin Chu was still a man of few words, but his questions were all important. Chapter 4460. 4. Suyu stretched out 4 fingers. 4. So many. Huamin frowned worriedly. Although Suyu had not mentioned the power of a dream creator, Huamin could feel it. To be able to weave such a big dream, make so many people enter the dream, and create a monster like Layla and Jingda, this dream creator must be extremely powerful. As expected, Suyu continued, dream creators are powerful in dreams. They are godlike existences. They can create many scenes, characters, and even strange things. If we are killed in the dream, we will die in reality as well, so creepy. And mumbled in a low voice. Suyu continued, but it's not like we don't have a way to deal with it. After I came back this time, I wanted to tell everyone how we were going to deal with them. My master said that a person's will is very strong. As long as you tell yourself that you are dreaming, you will think that whatever the dream creator does to you is fake. That way, you will not be hurt. The difficult thing is that the moment we are in danger, we will subconsciously take it seriously. Not many people can really think that they are dreaming, so we have to adjust our mentality. How do dream creators exist in dreams? Qin Chu asked Suyu. People like us. However, dream creators know how to disguise themselves. They might disguise themselves as people we know so that we can't do anything about it. Huamin pursed his lips. That's troublesome. How are we going to find them if this goes on? It's indeed difficult. That's why I wanted to discuss it with Qin Chu. Suyu looked at Qin Chu with trust in his eyes. That's not important anymore. How are we going to get out of here first? Logically speaking, as long as we don't split up, we can leave this place and return to our city with Suyu's prayer beads. However, the professor is still in Linya's hands. It will be difficult for us to find Linya. So, Suyu is right. Why don't we take the opportunity to turn the world upside down and make Linya's fictional palace completely collapse? Qin Chu obviously agreed with Suyu. Suyu was relieved to be recognized by Qin Chu. At least he wasn't suspected. When he came back this time, he told them about the dream. It was ridiculous. Even if Qin Chu and Huamin suspected him, he couldn't explain it clearly. But they didn't, they trusted Suyu unconditionally. This was what touched Suyu the most. Yes, no matter how many biochemical soldiers Linya has, it's useless. We have our ways. As long as we know it's a dream, we won't be hurt. When we get out, we'll kill them all and let that old witch Linya know that we're not pushovers for her to bully. Suyu was full of fighting spirit. Boss, what about Goddess Lu Yen? And carried the unconscious Lu Yen on his back. Mian, you support Lu Yen and walk between us. En and I will fight in the front. Qin Chu, you stay behind and protect Mian, Suyu instructed. Qin Chu nodded. At this moment, Suyu suddenly thought of something and took off the amulet around his neck. This time, the amulet was real. He had gotten it from his mother in the real world. He put the amulet around Huamin's neck. Take this with you. My master said that this thing is quite powerful. I remember that you're a Buddhist, so you know the Great Compassion mantra, right? Remember to recite it when you're afraid and feel danger. Although it can't send you back to the real world, those monsters definitely can't do anything to you. Suyu, you should wear it. I can't take it. Huamin felt guilty. He didn't want to owe Suyu anymore, especially at such a critical moment. Chapter 44-61. What are you talking about? I'm fine. I'm a man, so I don't need this. You're pregnant. Even if you don't think about yourself, you have to think about the child in your stomach. Right? Take it, don't dawdle with me. I hate it when you're hesitant. Suyu waved his hand and said casually. Huamin touched the amulet, an indescribable feeling in her heart. She felt that she owed Suyu too much in this life. She could repay what she owed Mr. Qin with her body and spend the rest of her life with him. But how was she going to repay what she owed Suyu? Seeing Huamin's conflicted expression, Qin Chu put his arm around her shoulder and comforted her softly. Suyu means well. Just wear it. With Qin Chu's words, Huamin felt less burdened. Because Mr. Qin wouldn't be jealous or misunderstand. The two of them wouldn't have a grudge over this. After spending a few years together, Qin Chu and Suyu had gone from being love rivals to friends. Although they didn't communicate much and didn't speak much, they still had a tacit understanding. Everything they did was to protect Huamin and the child. Qin Chu naturally knew what Suyu had done and appreciated his kindness. This was the magnanimous side of a man. Then let's rush out. Everyone, be careful. Then, Suyu and Qin Chu carried Huamin and the unconscious Lu Yen. They rushed out of the room. As expected, they immediately attracted the attention of Lin Ya's biochemical soldiers. Yet another fight was unavoidable, after knowing that it was a dream, and Chin-Chu's movements were obviously faster and more accurate. The three men charged forward as if they had cheats and clearly had the upper hand. In the main hall, Linya, who was forcing the professor to ask for the red demon, was attracted by the monitor. She looked at it for a while and smiled. It's so lively. Chin-Chu is here, and so is Su-Yu. And these little guys seem to have cheated. Interesting. The professor looked at the person on the screen and was a little worried. Huamin was in the middle of the group. With his big belly, he had to support Lu Yen. Obviously, he was a bit cumbersome. And more biochemical soldiers appeared. It was inevitable that there would be times when everyone would not be able to take care of themselves. One of the bio-soldiers charged at Huamin with a sword in hand. The professor was scared out of his wits. He was afraid that his daughter would be in danger. At the critical moment, Huamin closed his eyes and chanted the incantation that Su-Yu had taught him. Strangely enough, the bio-soldiers around Huamin were instantly reduced to ashes. It disappeared in an instant, as if it had been attacked by some mysterious power. The few of them killed their way through and finally arrived at the entrance of the hall. Su-Yu's eyes turned red from the killing, and he kicked open the door. Then, he saw Linya standing high above the stairs. Old monster, we're here to deal with you. Die this time, Su-Yu cursed at Linya. Su-Yu, you're really lucky. However, you escaped and are willing to come back to die. Then I'll fulfill your wish. Linya smiled slightly and wiped the crystal ball in her hand. Suddenly, a black tiger with the size of an elephant appeared out of thin air in the middle of the hall. Its aura was especially powerful. That guy was 3 times the size of an ordinary tiger. The tiger roared angrily, causing their ears to hurt. Eris, go. Eat this arrogant brat. With Linya's order, the black tiger immediately pounced at Su-Yu with bared fangs and brandished claws. Su-Yu instinctively should dodge, but he couldn't. Because Huamin was right behind him. If he dodged, the tiger would pounce on Huamin. Chapter 44-62. Su-Yu clenched his fists. Just as he was about to strengthen his consciousness so that the tiger would not be able to do anything, Chin-Chu jumped up and stabbed the black tiger in the eye with the dagger in his hand. The tiger howled and covered its eyes with its huge claws. Su-Yu, take this. Let's play with it. Chin-Chu handed him a dagger, and Su-Yu quickly caught it. Then, he understood what Chin-Chu meant. Linya must have made up this perverted monster, for her to be able to create such a powerful beast out of thin air. It was obvious how powerful a dream creator Linya was. Therefore, the first dream creator appeared, Linya. It must be Linya. After all, she could create a black tiger out of thin air. If it was before, Chin-Chu might have been surprised. After all, this was a ridiculous thing. But now, after Su-Yu told him the truth, Chin-Chu heaved a sigh of relief. As long as he remembered that he was dreaming, even a top dream creator would be helpless. Therefore, Su-Yu's return with the truth was the greatest help to them. Chin-Chu had a weapon on him, but of course, it was not convenient for him to carry anything else. Therefore, he only brought 2 daggers. One was for his own use, and the other was for Huamin's self-defense. However, at such a critical moment, he definitely couldn't watch Su-Yu fight the tiger. Therefore, this was the first time the 2 men had worked together. Huamin was still a little nervous. She held her breath and watched everything carefully. And, on the other hand, had been vigilantly watching over the unconscious Lu Yen. Then, he looked at his sleeping goddess with heartache. The subtext in his heart was, if my goddess wasn't asleep, she would have easily taken care of this tiger alone, right? Linya and the professor stood at the top of the hall. The professor looked calm, but he was still worried about Qin Chu. In his heart, Qin Chu and Xiao Fei were already the most outstanding son-in-law he recognized. He really didn't want them to get hurt in the slightest. At first, Linya was also watching the battle with Schadenfreude. She only wanted to see the scene of these ignorant juniors being eaten by the tiger. Unfortunately, it took Su Yu and Qin Chu less than 5 minutes to deal with the black tiger. The professor also found a trick. When the tiger attacked them, they didn't even try to hide. Even if the tiger bit his arm, he didn't seem to feel any pain. It was as if these two men had turned on a cheat code. The black tiger's eyes were first pierced by Su Yu and Qin Chu. Then, his throat and jaw were stabbed multiple times before he finally collapsed to the ground and died. Linya looked incredulous. She looked at Qin Chu and then at Su Yu. No, it's impossible. You can't possibly have such great power. Speak, who helped you? If it was a second ago, Linya would have believed that Su Yu was courting death by entering the dream for the second time. However, after seeing Su Yu's shocking performance, Linya suspected that Su Yu's dream wasn't that simple. Was he going to be the savior? Was he going to save everyone? Was he going to kill all the dream creators? The moment this terrifying thought appeared, Linya felt a chill run down her spine. No one is helping me. We're relying on ourselves. So what? You're afraid, old monster. Su Yu smiled provocatively. Impossible. You guys can't even kill my biochemical soldiers. Linya obviously didn't believe Su Yu. Stop nagging. I don't have time to waste on you. Linya, you're about to die. Do you have any last words? Su Yu weighed the dagger in his hand, confident. Chapter 44-63. Then, Su Yu looked up and smiled at Linya, releasing his aura. For the first time, Huamin realized that Su Yu was a man who could control the situation. When he was outstanding, he didn't lose to Qin Chu at all. Nameless Junior, you overestimate yourself, Linya gritted her teeth and said word by word. If you're willing to tell me who's behind this, I can consider letting you go, Su Yu coaxed. Ha ha ha, do you think I'm a fool? If we can't kill the dream creator, none of you will be able to get out. Will you let me go? What a joke. Do you think I'll believe your nonsense? Linya's smile was creepy and scary. Su Yu remained calm and asked with a smile, so, you admit that you're a dream creator? Hearing this, Linya's expression changed slightly. Su Yu, don't waste time with her. Let's go. Qin Chu reminded him in a low voice. With Su Yu's reminder, the two of them worked together to kill the black tiger. Qin Chu was full of fighting spirit. He felt that it wouldn't be a problem to kill Linya while the iron was hot. Qin Chu's mind was very agile and he immediately grasped the main point. Even in a dream, you could ignore the harm others inflicted on you. If they stabbed you, you could block out the pain. Then, you could counterattack. If the other party died, then all the damage that was inflicted on you would be gone. Therefore, at this moment, Qin Chu was no longer afraid. He only wanted to work with Su Yu to deal with this terrifying woman. Mian, I'm your mother. Can you bear to watch me die, and let your man kill me? Linya suddenly played the emotional card. She looked at Huamin pitifully. Mian, don't be fooled by her. Su Yu was impatient and quickly reminded Huamin to stay awake. Huamin glanced at Linya. It doesn't matter if you're my biological mother or not. After what you did to me, Yen, and Dad, you're no longer my biological mother. Linya, wake up. We've stopped playing the family card a long time ago. Aren't you embarrassed? Huamin held his belly and stared at Linya without blinking. His aura was the same as before. Although there wasn't a single dirty word, every word was enjoyable to listen to. Dr. Hua, you're awesome. And gave Huamin a thumbs up from behind. After following Suyu for so many years, Shaoan understood why Suyu liked Huamin and only liked Huamin. This was because Huamin's magnanimity, composure, calmness, and the way she handled things was not something an ordinary girl could easily learn. This was the charm that came with her personality. No one could compare to her and she was unique in the world. At least, over the years, he had never found a woman who could do what Huamin did. TSK. Alright, if that's the case, then, after Linya finished speaking, she grabbed with her left hand. She sucked the professor to her side. Then, Linya's fingers wrapped around the professor's throat. She was so strong that the professor coughed repeatedly, cough, 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 dad, dad. Qin Chu and Huamin shouted in unison. No one expected this woman to suddenly attack the professor. Linya, how could you attack a weak old man? Are you still human? Suyut scolded in exasperation. Mian, your dad loves you so much. So, you should know where the red demon is, right? Tell me, or else. I guarantee that your dad will be separated from you forever in 3 seconds. Linya smiled at Huamin. She was using the professor's life to threaten Huamin into revealing the whereabouts of the red demon. This was also the first time Su Yu and Qin Chu had heard of what these people wanted, the red demon. Chapter 44-64. Linya had originally planned to use her original plan to slowly wear down this group of people's consciousness. Especially Huamin and Professor Liu. But to her surprise, Su Yu's return almost messed up the dream. First, he killed Messiah, then he killed thousands of her biochemical soldiers. This truly angered Linya, especially Qin Chu's sudden arrival. This greatly boosted the team's morale. Linya didn't want to beat around the bush with these children anymore. She might as well force them to reveal the whereabouts of the red demon and report to the big boss. That was why she wanted to use the professor's life to threaten Huamin. After all, no matter how heartless Huamin was, he wouldn't leave his biological father to die. However, Linya was wrong. Huamin really didn't know the whereabouts of the red demon. Not to mention Huamin, even if Lu Yan was still awake, she wouldn't know the whereabouts of the red demon. The professor's heart turned cold when he saw Linya's actions. Then, he said calmly, "Yeah, the children don't know the whereabouts of the red demon. Why are you doing this? They don't know, but don't you know? So, old Liu, is your life more important? Or is your things more important? Let me tell you, if you die, you'll really have nothing left. Your wealth and status will disappear, let alone your red demon. Think about it carefully. I don't have the patience to continue playing cat and mouse with you. I've been coaxing you and providing you and your father with food and drinks here, but you didn't take it. Don't blame me for being merciless today." Linya's words were extreme. Huamin was so angry that his stomach hurt. Huamin covered his stomach with one hand and frowned slightly. She believed that no mother in the world would be so cruel to her own child and husband. "Mian, what's wrong?" Qin Chu noticed that something was wrong with Huamin's expression and quickly went forward to support her. Huamin was so angry that he couldn't speak. He could only shake his head with a pale face. Suyu didn't know anything about the red demon, so he couldn't interrupt. And listened quietly from the side. "Xiaoya, let me ask you one last time. Is the red demon really that important to you? Can you bear to abandon your family? Professor Lu's eyes seemed a little complicated, as if there were a lot of things in them. Unfortunately, Linya was too eager to get Red Demon to notice these details. Instead, he tightened his grip on the professor's neck. Cut the crap. If you don't tell me today, all of you will die here. You'll be the first to die. As soon as Linya finished speaking, the professor suddenly attacked. This palm strike actually sent Linya flying 5 to 6 meters away. Su Yu, Qin Chu, and Huamin were all stunned. Professor, this is Taiji Fist. Even if you have never eaten pork, you must have seen pigs run. Su Yu did not know much about China's martial arts. However, he knew a little about Taiji Fist, because Lord Su liked it very much. However, Su Yu only knew that Taiji Fist was used to strengthen the body, but he didn't expect it to be so explosive. The professor's palm strike looked light. However, it sent Linya flying. Linya didn't seem to expect this weak-looking man to be so powerful. After landing, she got up and was about to secretly create some ferocious beasts to deal with these people. Oh no, she's going to form another seal. I wonder what she'll create. Su Yu shouted to remind everyone. At this moment, something shocking happened. With a few muffled sounds, Linya fell to the ground. Everyone was dumbfounded, except for the professor. Chapter 44-65. What's going on? After a moment of silence, An spoke up. Without waiting for anyone to speak, the professor explained, I planted a small adhesive explosive on her body. Dad, you actually brought explosives with you. Oh my god, aren't you too powerful? Huamin was pleasantly surprised. I didn't bring it with me. I secretly made it after I came here. I felt that it would be useful. The professor looked indifferent. Huamin had made adhesive explosives before. However, he didn't do it as well as his father did. To put it bluntly, it was something like chewing gum. It could be stuck to various parts of a person's body when they weren't paying attention. Then, there was a small buffer time. Some were 10 seconds, while others were a few minutes. This depended on the dosage of the raw materials used during the production. Su Yu was no stranger to this thing. Huamin had made one before, but it was extremely powerful. At that time, he had wanted to perish together with Huasiqian, so Su Yu knew how powerful this thing was. Most importantly, no one saw when the professor made the move. However, when they saw the few bloody holes on Linya's body, they knew that there was more than one adhesive explosive on her body. Moreover, looking at the wounds, it was blown from the inside out. The area involved was very small, so it could only blow up Linya herself and not hurt anyone else. The professor even deliberately pushed her 5 to 6 meters away to maintain a safe distance. Dad, when did you do it? Qin Chu finally couldn't help but ask. When she was holding me hostage just now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had such a good opportunity to get close to her. She's usually very vigilant. It seems that she was too smart this time. She wanted to hold you hostage, but she died here. Qin Chu sighed. At this moment, Linya's body began to slowly wither, just like when Messiah died. However, when Messiah died, she was a pool of green liquid. It was extremely disgusting. As for Linya, it was a pool of red blood. It looked very terrifying. Huamin was pregnant, so she couldn't stand it anymore. She turned her head and leaned on Qin Chu's shoulder. She's a dream creator. Seeing the pool of red blood, Su Yu was very sure. Master Wu had told him how to tell a dream creator from a fictional one. I knew she wasn't Ya. Ya would never do anything to her family for some reason. Back then, when Mian was switched in Dong Tao Town, Ye was very regretful and guilty. She missed her daughter day and night. So, Maya would never do such a chilling thing. I was talking to her just now to distract her. Indeed, there was no sadness on the professor's face at all about Linya's death. Because the professor seemed to have already decided that this was not the real Linya. Ever since they were in Bali, the reason why he was able to follow her lead and beat her at her own game was to find his two missing daughters. Huamin was not sad at all. He had no feelings for this woman, and after hearing that she was a dream creator, he hated her even more. She's indeed not the real Dr. Linya. She's a dream creator, Qin Chu explained to the professor. Dream creator. The professor frowned slightly. Dad, have you heard of this profession? Huamin looked at her father curiously. The professor nodded. Of course. When I was in America, I met one. The FBI has a dream creator. It said that she's very powerful. She can pull people into dreams, and everything in the dream is created by her. I heard that there was a rich businessman in the United Arab Emirates who spent a lot of money to hire a dream creator to create a dream for him to see his wife who had been dead for many years. He slept in the dream for 3 days and spent a good time with his dead wife. This is not fake, we saw it with our own eyes. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.